Wurd and Solomon Jones.
You better wake up now.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. Kwesi, you know what? So for a minute yesterday, Levita and I were watching this movie called Devil, right? Until we looked and saw like what the movie was about. She was like, I want to watch this. I want to watch this, right? It was about these people who were stuck in an elevator, right, with Lucifer himself. And these people are in there fighting each other and trying to figure out who's Lucifer and who's not. And they, you know, right? So we watched probably about 3 minutes of it till she looked at the description. Was like, I ain't watching this, right? Don't you know I just got stuck in the elevator trying to come up here? It's Lucifer himself in this elevator with me right now.
My gosh.
And you know, I'm on the elevator. All of a sudden, the elevator like douche. I'm like, hold up, what in the world? It just stopped, right? And I'm pushing the button. I'm dialing my phone. I'm like, all right, call Kwesi and let her know he's stuck in the elevator. Right?
That's scary, though.
It is scary.
I've been in an elevator where it dropped like a whole floor.
Oh, wow.
And then when it opened, we were like halfway in between. I was like, oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
But I was okay.
Yeah.
I was all right.
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
scary.
Yeah. And I've been stuck in an elevator in this building before, now that I think about it.
You have. I remember that.
Like, what's up with the elevators in here? So I watched that movie yesterday. I get on the elevator today. I'm stuck on the elevator. Something said, just push the open door button. I pushed it, and I looked out. I'm like, where am I? I'm on the second floor. It's a whole different floor. What?
It looks completely different.
Completely different. I'm like,
does.
is this the same building? Like, what in the world? Is this the Twilight Zone? I'm already in it with this Corona stuff. Is this the real Twilight Zone? So then I get up, get off the elevator, come up the steps. You can see me on the camera like, why is he coming up the steps? Like, man, oh man, oh man, this is so crazy. But you got to get your laughs where you can. And so, yeah, today was my stuck in the elevator day at WURD. But a new bill introduced this week would give essential workers $25,000 in student debt relief or for college tuition or costs of a workforce development or continuing education program. It's co-sponsored by Pennsylvania Republican Brian Fitzpatrick and several Democrats, and it's called the Opportunities for Heroes Act. It would establish a new commission to determine which workers are deemed essential and eligible for the $25,000. Now, some of the position the bill specifically mentions includes healthcare workers, first responders, pharmacy workers, grocery store workers, and postal workers. Essential workers who worked at least 480 hours in a 120-day period during the COVID-19 crisis would be eligible. Workers who couldn't reach 480 hours due to a case of COVID-19 would still be eligible, and the bill would allow workers to transfer the money to a family member. For example, if an essential worker didn't have student loans or a desire to go to college, they could use the money to pay for their child's education. And you know what? This is a good thing. It's a good thing not just because of what it would do to keep low-wage workers and help them turn their lives around, but also because Democrats and at least one Republican are working together to make it happen. This is how government should work. This is how futures are made, and this is how we can move forward. We got a hot show for you today on Wake Up with Wurd. Jay McCalla joins us to break down the political happenings in D.C. and beyond. And on our small business stimulus segment, Pamela Rich-Wheeler, executive director of the Biz Center, joins David Sims of Eatable Delights. And as always, we've got you, our listeners, calling in at 215-634-8065 or toll free 1-866-361-0900. Hit us on Twitter and Instagram at Onward, or you can hit me personally at Solomon Jones 1. Watch us on Facebook at Forward. But first, it's the big three, the news stories you need to know to kick off your day right here on Wake Up with Wurd. Story number one. Supporters of reopening Philadelphia businesses will gather at City Hall on Friday. The day parts of northern and western Pennsylvania would begin a phased lifting of shutdown restrictions to rally against mass closures aimed at mitigating the spread of the coronavirus. Multiple groups are planning rallies set for the same time. Some are small business owners in the city and workers who are sick of waiting for an unemployment check. Some also may be affiliated with the Philadelphia Proud Boys, a chapter of the self-described Western chauvinist organization that has been designated a hate group. All are demanding that Mayor Jim Kenney lay out a plan to ease social distancing restrictions in the city, though it isn't clear if the mayor has the authority to do so. It was Governor Tom Wolf who issued an order shutting down all but life-sustaining businesses across the state. We hope Tom Wolf is watching, said Victor Della Barba of Drexel Hill, because we're angry at Harrisburg too, but we're just far away. Della Barba and a few mothers, including his mother, Jody, well known in South Philadelphia civic and political circles, created the group Reopen Philadelphia and are plotting a caravan of cars that will drive at noon Friday from Broad Street and Oregon Avenue to City Hall in an event they dubbed a gridlock rally. You know what, Kawesa? I'm looking at this. This is a mess in the making. So y'all, you know, some of y'all might be out there because you legitimately have a gripe about your business being closed and you not being able to make money and you not being able to work right now because of the coronavirus lockdown, and I get that. But y'all gonna be out there with white supremacists. Y'all gonna be out there with people with guns. Y'all gonna be out there with people with Confederate flags, Nazi symbols, white supremacist hate groups. That's who you gonna be out there with. And so, you know, I mean, you can decide to do whatever you want, but this is a mess in the making. The people behind a lot of this stuff are white supremacists. They are people who have a whole other agenda other than we just want to go back to work. Otherwise, why are you out there with AK-47s? Why are you out there with military gear? Why are you out there with Confederate flags? Why are you out there with Nazi symbols? Like, this is a mess in the making, and I just pray that it turns out all right.
Yeah, I mean, I pray that it turns out all right, you know, as well. I mean, I think that for me, the biggest thing is that, you know, you have all these folks out here who are, you know, calling this a hoax. They're saying it's not real. People aren't really dying, you know, and it makes me wonder if they're saying these things because they haven't been impacted by it. They don't know people who've been dying. They don't know people who've gotten sick. I know people who have died. I know people who have been sick from this, people still recovering, fighting this for months on end, you know, and so for me, I'm kind of like, you know, I feel you. I understand that, you know, as a business, you need money. You need to be able to survive and you know, you need to be able to do that.
Yep.
But at the same time, how is your business going to be viable if everyone is sick or dead and can't come to visit you anyway? You know, so there's so many levels to this. I keep saying it every day, but I mean, it's crazy, and I think that people just really need to understand the fact that, yo, this is killing folks and killing our people more than them. So I don't know.
Yeah, and one of the levels of it is racial. One of the levels of it is social. One of the levels of it is economic. You know, all of those things play a role in this. And you're right, Kawesa. Some people just haven't seen people who've died from this. I have. Some people haven't seen people who've gotten sick from this. I have. I have, you know, family members now who are sick from this. So, like, you know, don't act like this thing is made up, but you know what? People still do it, which brings me to story number 2. Many healthcare professionals are dealing with a bombardment of misinformation and harassment from conspiracy theorists, some of whom have moved beyond posting online to pressing doctors for proof of the severity of the pandemic, and it's taking a toll. One doctor said that dealing with conspiracy theorists is the second most painful thing I've had to deal with, other than separation of families from their loved ones. Several other doctors shared similar experiences, saying that they regularly had to treat patients who had sought care too late because of conspiracy theories spread on social media, and that social media companies have to do more to counter the forces that spread lies for profit. Dr. Duncan Maru, a physician and epidemiologist in Queens, said he had heard from colleagues that a young patient had come into the emergency room last week with damage to his intestinal tract after ingesting bleach. The incident occurred just days after President Donald Trump suggested that injection of disinfectants should be researched as a potential coronavirus treatment. It would be funny if it wasn't so sad. And that's why I don't let y'all get on here and tell lies. That's why I cut you off. I mean, that's, you know, and I'm sorry, you know, if you're offended by it, but you know, what you have to understand is that does real harm to people. People will listen to you saying that foolishness and then go out and do what you said, even though you know that you have no idea what you're talking about. People will go out and listen to that. We cannot have that. Kawesa, this is crazy.
It is crazy. I mean, and you don't know the level of craziness it is until you have someone who only hears part of a conversation on our airwaves, and then I'm on the phone with them for 20, 30 minutes trying to explain to them that information wasn't true. So that's what I'm saying. Like, we have to be careful in how we move and how we put that information out to our people.
Yeah, absolutely. And even though coronavirus is going on, racism has not taken a day off, which brings me to story number 3, the fatal shooting of a black man apparently recorded on video in February and posted online Tuesday by a local radio station host will go to a grand jury in coastal Georgia, according to a district attorney. Ahmaud Arbery, 25, was jogging in a neighborhood outside Brunswick, Georgia on February 23rd when a former police officer and his son chased him down, authorities said. According to a Glenn County police report, Gregory McMichael later told officers that he thought Arbery looked like a person suspected in a series of recent break-ins in the area. After they chased him down, McMichael told police, Arbery and McMichael's son Travis struggled over his son's shotgun. McMichael said 2 shots were fired before Arbery fell to the street, the report said. In a letter to police, George Barnhill, one of the district attorneys who had recused himself from the case and who saw the autopsy report, wrote that Arbery sustained 3 wounds during the struggle for the gun. Tom Durden, the district attorney for the Atlantic Judicial District, wrote in a news release obtained by CNN on Tuesday that he expects to present the case to the next available grand jury in Glenn County to consider whether charges are merited for those involved in Arbery's death. So, you know, here's the problem. Right now, courts are currently prohibited from impaneling grand juries in Georgia, right? Now, didn't they open up the gyms? They open up the gyms. They open up all kind of stuff. Y'all need to open up a grand jury. And really, I don't even like having this go to a grand jury because grand juries operate in secret. Because grand juries get whatever the DA gives them. And, you know, it's heartbreaking. You know, it took me a while to watch the video because I'm tired of watching videos of black people getting killed. You know, it just does something to you. But it's my job, and so I watched it. And, you know, it's heartbreaking. This young man's fighting for his life. You know, this dude got a shotgun. He trying to take the shotgun from the guy, and the other guy's in the back of a pickup. First of all, they roll up in a pickup. Just digest that for a minute. 2 white men in a pickup, you jogging. You know, and they roll up in a pickup while he's jogging. He's jogging. They block his path. He runs around to the passenger side. The guy gets out with the shotgun. For a moment, they are out of the frame. You hear a gunshot. Then you hear another. And he's still fighting this guy to try to get this shotgun from him. The other guy's in the back of the pickup with a handgun. Then there's a third shot. Black man falls to the ground. They killed him in cold blood. That was murder, right? And it's a heartbreaking case because even as we are dealing with an outbreak that is killing us disproportionately, even as we are dealing with millions of people who are unemployed, even as we are dealing with just everyday life during this critical time, racism won't take a day off. Racism won't take a minute off. This young man was minding his business. He was unarmed. He had no tools. Like, how do you commit a burglary with no tools? How do you commit a burglary and not have any of the stuff that you stole? How do you commit a burglary? All you got is a T-shirt, your legs, your arm, you running down the street, jogging. Not running, jogging, exercising, right? How do you commit a burglary without anything to do the break-in with? He don't have no bolt cutters. He don't have no screwdriver. He don't have anything. He don't have a bag to take the stuff away with. So how was he committing a burglary? You did it because he was black. And now this young man is dead. And you know, how much can you talk about it? It becomes exhausting. But we got to talk about it. We have to really understand what we are up against. You know, that's why when I see these protests, when these people, and they got guns, and they got Confederate flags, and Nazi symbols, and all, y'all ain't out there because of the virus. You're out there because you're racist. You're out there to try to have some underlying message, but pretending it's about something else. You know, these people don't take a day off. They don't take a minute off. This virus is not affecting how they feel about us. And so really, you know, I think that we have to talk about it. We have to understand it. And we have to do something, I think, to protect ourselves. So there is certainly the legal part of it, right? And we're reaching out to Lee Merritt. That's the lawyer representing the family. But I think also there is a political part of it. I think also there is a social part of it. I think also there is just a reality part of it where you just have to realize, man, some people just gonna hate you because you black. And there's nothing you can do about it. You know, so we live our lives and we do what we have to do, and we go to work and we love each other and we take care of each other. But I think that, you know, part of what has to happen during this time, this is a different time. This is a time where we actually have the opportunity to do something about loving each other, helping each other, connecting with each other, lifting each other. Because guess what? It's some people that's just going to hate you no matter what you do. No matter how hard you try, no matter how you try to fit in, you can adopt their ideology, you can do whatever it is, they still going to hate you. But I think the biggest thing, the best thing that we can do in this moment, when we see this, is learn how to love ourselves. We got to do that. And loving yourself means loving your brother. Loving yourself means taking care of each other. I was down 16th and Winger Hockey the other day. I'm going home. I'm driving through Logan, right? Black folks out there fighting. We supposed to be in the house. Why are we fighting each other for nothing? We got to do better. And this is a moment when you see this. When you see this young man murdered in cold blood, no weapons, unarmed, not doing anything wrong, he's exercising. He's minding his business. When you see a picture of him and see the look on this young man, this is not a criminal. You can see it. And yet he's gunned down for no reason. We have to learn to love each other because there are people that are going to hate us no matter what. We have to learn to take care of each other, and this is a moment that gives us a chance to do that. We're going to go to break. On the other side, we're going to talk to you. 215-634-8065. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
The Dr. Emeka Show. Saturdays at 1 p.m. right here on WURD 96.1 FM and 900 AM. Streaming live at wordradio.com and on the Wurd Radio app.
Dietz & Watson has been making premium meats and artisan cheeses for over 80 years. And when it comes to stacking sandwiches and party platters, they've got something for everyone in the family, like maple honey turkey breast, American cheese, buffalo chicken, and more. So get to your local deli and taste 4 generations of family recipes. With Dietz & Watson on the table, you'll have everyone coming back for seconds and thirds. Dietz & Watson, it's a family thing since 1939.
This is Wurd Radio, independent black media.
Despite spring weather, the COVID-19 outbreak has forced us indoors. To slow the spread of this outbreak, staying home is what we need to do. This is Dan Hilferty, CEO of Independence Blue Cross. Fact is, 80% of people infected with the virus don't know they have it. Even if you feel well, you can spread it to others, and that could be particularly dangerous for an older relative or a loved one with an underlying health condition. Isolating from others isn't easy. Humans are social beings, so connect by phone, text, or video chat. Stay engaged with friends and family, and if you feel sick, call your doctor. Much of the care you need can be delivered by telemedicine. This will limit potential exposure to COVID-19 for yourself and healthcare professionals. For more, visit ibx.com/COVID-19. Together, we will beat COVID-19.
I'm Councilmember Helen Gim, asking all the listeners out there to please stay home to stop the spread of COVID-19. The more people stay home and social distance, the more chance we have to stop the spread of this terrible disease. We know everybody can't stay home all the time, so if you work at a job that's essential, or if you need to grocery shop or get medical care, please maintain your social distance of 6 feet. Wear a mask to cover your face. Even if you don't feel sick, we need to protect everybody else. We know this is hard on everybody, but together we can make it through. Stop the spread, stay home, save lives. For more information, visit phila.gov/COVID-19.
Now, a traffic update on Wurd Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. An accident this morning on the Pennsylvania Turnpike. It's eastbound, just east of the Mid-County tolls, a mile marker 335.7. Off to the left there, westbound side of the Turnpike, moving fine. Bluebird 476 both ways, 95 through the Schuylkill Expressway. Still a quiet 14-minute ride. 95 Schuylkill Expressway itself in pretty good shape. Major roads in New Jersey, 42, 55, 295 looking good as well. These are challenging times, and Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans is prepared to help. If you need mortgage assistance, contact their team 24/7 at rocketmortgage.com. From their home to yours, the team at Rocket Mortgage is with you. Visit rocketmortgage.com. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. I'm Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on Word Radio,
96.1 FM.
and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM and 96.1 FM WURD, and we're talking about the heartbreaking case of Ahmaud Arbery. He was gunned down by a father and son in Georgia while he was jogging. He's out jogging. They claim that there had been burglaries in the neighborhood. He looked like the person that committed the burglaries. They chased him down, blocked his path with their truck. One of them had a shotgun. The other had a pistol. Ahmaud Arbery was fighting for his life. Guy approaches him with a shotgun. He tries to fight him off, and he's shot 3 times and dies right there in the street. My question is, who was the person who recorded the video? Because this person was in a car. And they were driving apparently behind Arbery. I don't think they were driving behind the pickup. And they gave it to a local talk show host there in Georgia. And the talk show host put it online. They put it online, and it is a murder in cold blood, in my view. They claim that they thought he was a burglar. Okay, if you thought he was a burglar, why did you approach him with guns rather than calling the police? You're a former police officer. You know how this thing is supposed to go, right? The father. Why would you not call police? Right? What was your intention in approaching him with those guns? What was it that you hoped to achieve? The fact that he was unarmed, what was it that you were trying to do by approaching him with loaded guns and initiating an altercation with him? What were you hoping to do? I mean, were you hoping that he tried to defend himself so that you could kill him? What is it that you were trying to achieve, right? I think it's cold-blooded murder. I do. And so the question becomes, what happens with this case, and what precedent does it set for future cases, right? So, and it happened in Georgia, where the governor is Brian Kemp, who stole the election. Stole it because he was the Secretary of State, the person in charge of the election, at the same time that he was running in the election. That's like being the umpire and the batter at the same time. You get to call your own balls and strikes, right? They did everything that they could to suppress the black vote, closed down polling places, took people off the rolls. They did all kinds of stuff to cheat their way to the win in Georgia. So now you've got this guy who is the governor of Georgia, and you got all of these crises going on. What does he do? I'm going to open up everything, even though the medical professionals say it's too soon. And now he's the governor while this case is going on. So what are you going to do about it? What are we going to do about it? I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. I want to hear from you. This is a heartbreaking case, but racism does not take a day off. It does not take a minute off, and neither should we. Lloyd from Hamilton is on line 1. Go ahead, Lloyd.
Yeah, good morning, Solomon.
How you doing, brother?
Peace, man. Yeah, very, very heart-wrenching, man. Just filled with so many mixed emotions, man, but I definitely had to call in, man, and say, these times, it's nothing new. Nothing has went away. It's been a lot of disguise that people have been wearing. And it's sad to say, that the disguises that these people wear, it doesn't, just stop, right at the neighborhood or whatever. It's in the government. It's high-ranking officials. And we can say, all the way to the top. But, like for me, man, I'm just trying to really grasp this, man. I'm studying. God has given me a new pair of glasses on life, man. I've changed my life so I can see things differently, but at the same time, I don't see anything changing. Now, I live in a community. I just saw maybe 2 days ago, I saw a young African-American jogging. I saw him a couple times before I saw the police pull him over, stop him. And I'm like, yo, what is this guy doing? I saw him jogging. And then it just happened. And then this thing comes up with the guy in Atlanta. And, it's like it's really hitting home. It's really hitting home because, being of African descent and that color, it's like you can't even get into an argument with the opposite, with a Caucasian and not risk your life because they're already embedded with a false sense of superiority. And I have to just state it like that because it's been like that. They've been granted this for so many years. And, like I said, I've changed my life. I'm go to a community college where they have a police academy. And I'm 50 years old. These Caucasian cadets look at me with a hate and an envy inside their eyes that I have never seen before, as if to say, it's like a confrontation with the eyesight to where I'm going to see you when I'm on duty. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm very fearful of that, just because they do have a type of authority that you should abide by, especially with carrying a gun. And being that I've made mistakes in my life, I'm not afforded that opportunity to even be able to protect myself. So you're basically at the mercy of prejudice, indoctrinated people who think that they're superior. And you know, sad to say, it's not their fault. They're taught this.
Yeah, I hear you, Lloyd, and I want to thank you so much for your call. We do have to move on, but, man, you're right. You know, and it's a shame. Let's go to Valerie from Southwest on line 2. Go ahead, Valerie.
Oh, God bless. Thank you, Solomon. You're doing a wonderful, wonderful job.
Thank you.
Our black people need unity, and it'll never be. I don't think I'll live to see it. But talking about Atlanta, I think that young man lived in a white area, and they were jealous of him anyway. So this is why his father set out being a police officer. He knew what was up. He already knew how to control him, or why didn't he put him in cuffs, you know, instead of just having his son. Now his son is following him. Now if he kills him, he might kill somebody else, black. Now I want to change the subject a little bit and go to Trump. People need God. And I'm not going to drown this out, but God has prepared us in human form, and you have demons and you have angels. Obama was a living angel, and he's still alive, thank God. But Trump is a demon, and he's in human form, and people are not looking at this.
Okay, I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD. I mean, we don't know that. I mean, we don't know that. But I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD. Jay from South Philly is on line 3. Go ahead, Jay.
Hi, good morning, Solomon.
Good morning.
Just want to say, pertaining to the incident in Georgia, if that former police officer was willing to do that, perhaps once they go to trial and get this settled and justice is done for this young man and for his family, they probably need to reopen some of his cases, because it just seems so prejudiced that he would just, we're going to go out and get him, as opposed to following the law and calling a police officer, you know, putting in a report that he is a suspect, not just chase him down and do what they did.
Yeah.
So that's just my thought.
Yeah.
My other cases, because something else, you know, in his past, for him to freely have done that, something in his past just allowed him to do that.
Right.
So thank you for taking my call.
Yeah, I think you have an excellent point. I think that they do have to go back and kind of look at, okay, what is this guy's history? What has he done concerning other black folks that he has interacted with during his time on the force? I think she's absolutely right. And, you know, it's just heartbreaking, Kwesa. And it's not something, I mean, we saw this, and I hate talking about stuff like this. I hate that we have to do it, but we have to do it. We have to do it because our people have to know what we are up against. You have to know what you are dealing with. You have to know the kind of dangers that you're facing. You have to know that when you are in this skin, you become a target. You have to know that, and you have to understand that. And you know, you don't think about it, 24 hours a day, but you have to know it. You know, you don't live your life, in fear, but you got to know it. Because for a lack of knowledge, my people perish, literally. If you out here oblivious thinking that, racism is gone, it's not here anymore, it's not a real thing, why you keep talking about it, then you living in a fantasy world. And we have to understand that we live in the real world. And we really do have to know what we are up against. And at least if you know, then you're prepared somewhat to deal with it, because you're never really fully prepared to deal with this nonsense. When you're confronted by racism, you're like, what? It's always a shock. But we have to know, and we have to understand that this is what we are dealing with. This young man doing nothing wrong. jogging down the street, minding his business. And one thing I want to do, I'm going to put a picture of him on our social media because I just need y'all to see his face and understand that this is a real young man. This is somebody, who could be your family member, right? I just need y'all to see him and understand that he is a real person, right? That this was someone who had dreams and had aspirations and had a future that was snatched away by murderers. So I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. I'm outraged. I'm outraged because not only do we have to deal with the economic fallout of coronavirus, not only do we have to deal with the medical results that are disproportionately killing us, but then on top of all of that, we got to deal with this. I want to hear from you. Give me a call. 215-634-8065 is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD. We are going to go to break, but we are also going to be taking your comments on Facebook at Forward, F-O-R-W-U-R-D. That's F-O-R-W-U-R-D. We're talking about the case of Ahmaud Arbery, who was murdered in Georgia in February by two men who claimed that they thought he was a burglar. He jogging down the street. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
For over 115 years, Philly's top sandwich pros have always started the exact same way, Amoroso's. Why Philly's sandwiches are world famous. During these unprecedented and challenging times, Amoroso's would like to thank its customers and its associates for their hard work and dedication as they continue to feed our community. This too shall pass, and Amoroso's will be by your side and on your table now and for generations to come. Want to make the very best sandwiches? Always start with the very best. Amoroso's.
Want the latest in Wurd swag? Check out the shop tab on WURDradio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. The shop tab on WURDradio.com. Show the world that you're all about black. Talk Media.
West Philadelphia Promise Neighborhood Community Meal locations for seniors. West Philly Senior Community Center, 1061 North 41st Street. Seniors only. Call 215-386-0377 for days and times and to reserve your meal. Fireside Adult Center, 5331 Haverford Avenue, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Call ahead, grab and go lunch for seniors. For a full listing of meal sites, go to phillyfoodfinder.org. For more information for the West Philadelphia Promise Neighborhood offerings, please go to WURDradio.com and click on the WPPN banner ad for more information.
Now, a traffic update on Wurd Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by ExpressPros.com. Still looking pretty good as you make your way here in Philadelphia. Still no major problems out there as the stay-at-home order across the tri-state area remains in effect. So Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware remain late as you make your way this morning. Now, we had an earlier accident of Pennsylvania Turnpike eastbound east of Mid-County, mile marker 335.7. That's cleared. Westbound Turnpike looking good. Schuylkill Expressway, I-95 in pretty good shape through Philadelphia, as well as the Blue Route 476. Same thing in New Jersey, 42, 55, 295, all moving fine. Now we have COVID-19 testing, West Philadelphia, 41st and Market at Penn Medicine, a walk-up and drive-through testing site. Also, West Philly, 48th and Market Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, offering drive-through testing for children. Need to manage a changing workforce? It's time to get to know Express Employment Professionals. Visit ExpressPros.com and find one of over 830 locations to help support your workforce needs. For more traffic information, log on to SIGAlert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
You're waking up with Wurd, hosted by Solomon Jones. Good morning. Right now on Wurd Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. We are talking about the heartbreaking case of Ahmaud Arbery. He was 25 years old, and he was jogging in a neighborhood outside Brunswick, Georgia, on February 23rd when a former police officer and his son chased him down in a pickup truck and shot him to death. And it was caught on video by another driver who was driving behind Arbery. And I wonder, you know, if this person was also following Arbery, like why were they in a position to be videotaping this from their car? And so that's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in knowing what happened with that and why they were driving behind him. And so my question is, what now? The family has retained attorney Lee Merritt. He's representing the family, and we are seeking to get him on, and we will have him on in the coming days. But we got to talk about this now, because this is heartbreaking. I think it affirms some things that we already know, and I think that we have to understand that racism does not take a day off. That in the middle of a pandemic, that in the middle of a nationwide crisis, that even as people are dying on ventilators, as nurses and doctors seek the equipment that they need, as we struggle to give people the tests that they need, that even as all of this is going on, even as tens of millions of people lose their jobs due to the coronavirus crisis, racism does not take a day off. And so this young man is dead because these men assumed, A, that he was a burglar. They said there were some burglaries in the neighborhood, and they thought it was him. How he's breaking into houses with no tools, how he's breaking into houses, he doesn't have a bag to carry the stuff away, how he's breaking into houses and doesn't have a vehicle to get away in, how he's breaking into houses while he's jogging down the street. It escapes me. Their story sounds like nonsense to me, right? I believe they probably just saw he's black. We think the burglar's black, and so it must be him. We're going to kill him. And that's what they did. But now what? Not only in the criminal justice system, that'll play out however that plays out. Sometimes we get convictions, most times we don't. But the question is, what are we going to do? And I think in this moment, and the more I think about it, the more we deal with this whole coronavirus thing, knowing that it is disproportionately affecting our people, the more I think about it, the more we live through this, the more I realize and recognize that this is a moment where we have to learn how to love ourselves and each other. That means take care of those who are unemployed. That means take care of those who are falling ill. That means get out, and if you are working and you are black, you need to be taking care of somebody, helping out somebody who's not. You need to be helping out somebody who's not working. I don't care if you give your neighbor $5. We need to be helping each other through this moment so that we learn how to help each other through these other moments that we tend to face. We need to be learning how to come together as a people so that we can not only survive but thrive. You know, tragedy gives you that opportunity, and we are dealing with tragedy. We are dealing with tragedy with this virus, but we are dealing with the same tragedies that were happening before, and guess what, are going to happen after this is over. How do we deal with it? How do we adjust? How do we change? How do we love each other through it? How do we learn to come together? How do we learn that, guess what, we still going to have to face all of this when this coronavirus thing is over? There's going to be another Ahmaud Arbery. How are we going to deal with it? I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Onita from West Oak Lane is on line one. Go ahead, Onita.
Good morning, Wurd family. I want to know my suggestion is, just like all the African men got together for Million Man March, why can't all of y'all get together and do the same thing for the racism that's going against all of us but mainly the men. Why can't all of y'all get together and just march on wherever city or state that you're in and demand that you're not going to do that to us anymore because you're not speaking up, because you're not standing up.
Who's not standing up?
The men.
Yeah, I disagree. I disagree. I think that, marches have their place.
I understand that.
I think that marches can certainly be part of an overall strategy, but I think that it has to be more than a march.
But I'm not saying a march. I'm just saying you stand and you say, we're not taking this anymore. We're tired of y'all killing us in the street. The men, you did it for the Million Man March. What was that for? What was that for? This is for your life.
Yeah, I hear you.
This is important.
You're right. I hear you. I mean, and I want to thank you for your call. We did man up around the homicides that are happening in our own community, and that's why I say we have to learn how to love ourselves and each other. And to some people that might sound trite. But our lives are on the line every day when we go out in our own neighborhoods. And then when we expand out into other people's neighborhoods. And so not only are they killing us, we're killing each other. And that comes down to, okay, do you value your own life? Right? Do you value your own life? And if you do, then you value the life of that brother who's just like you, who comes from your same circumstance and environment, your same culture. And I think that you have to learn how to first love yourself, love your brother enough to value them enough to step out and say, okay, I'm going to march for him. I'm going to help him. I'm going to help that brother get a job. I'm going to help that brother be a better father. I'm going to help that brother be a better man. That's why we did Man Up. We brought together 400 people, right? And we're still operating 5 months later, right? We're still doing what we do 5 months later. And so I think part of what has to happen is that there has to be a plan and a structure put in place so that you can actually achieve what you talk about, standing up. So I agree with you, but I think that it has to be more than a march. D from North Philly is online too. Go ahead, D.
Well, I was going to say something about a march too. We all, I'm 80 years old and grandmother. And most of the grandmothers and grandfathers are raising these people. And I think it's one more march needs to be done. These senior citizens need to get out and have a march also. That's all I got to say.
All right.
Because we're behind a lot of them.
Okay. Thank you, Miss D. I appreciate your call. Brother Joe from Germantown is on line 3. Go ahead, Brother Joe.
Hey, Brother Simon Quinn. How y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
Sad morning. I'm doing all right. I'm doing okay, Brother Simon. I praise be to Allah. I'm trying to maintain as well as I can. Brother Simon, this is Trayvon Martin all over again. He was hunted down, just like Trayvon was hunted down like an animal. Well, this time Brother Arbery was hunted down like an animal. And who could ever forget, Brother Simon, your heart-wrenching, and I mean heart-wrenching interview you had with Tracy Martin, Trayvon's father.
Yeah.
And the sad part, Brother Simon, almost 20 years after this man's death, on these white stations, those racist bigots still referring to Trayvon as a thug to justify Zimmerman and their racism. Here this young man, just like Brother Arbery, wasn't doing anything. He was coming home with Skittles doing a halftime of the NBA All-Star game, and he gets confronted by this murderer, this thug, and he's been called a thug and stuff by these racists. And believe me when I tell you, Brother Storm, they looking far and high to try to find something on Brother Arbery to try to justify his killing. They're going to try to say he smoked marijuana one day or he did this as if that got something to do with him being hunted down like an animal. And that's why, see, Brother Storm, what we have to do is do economics. At the very least, what we have to do is start punishing white America economically. when the holidays come up, stop go to these white malls and stuff. You'll send a message to corporate America that we're not going to spend our money and you killing our people and white folks sitting back not doing anything. But you got to send a strong economic message. Stop doing to these people. Make sure you support black businesses too, for you to go a little extra out of your way to do it. Stop giving money to white racists who's killing your people, man. I mean, you got to do something, but you just can't keep sitting back here on the sideline while these people killing our people left and getting away with it. Because this is the mindset you're dealing with and stuff, man. You got some hateful, vile people, and you got to call a spade, man.
Yeah.
Whatever, like Bob said, whatever by any means necessary.
I hear you, and I want to thank you so much, Brother Joe. We got to move on. We got a couple of other people who want to get in, but I want to thank you so much for your call. Brother Mayo from South Philly is on line 4. Go ahead, Brother Mayo.
Good morning, Brother Solomon, man. My heart is sad, too, over what happened with this brother. I saw that, man. And like you, I was wondering, the person in the vehicle behind that was doing the taping, it looked premeditated, man.
It looked like they were following him, too.
Exactly. And just so everybody, please keep in mind that at this time when that happened in Georgia, Georgia State was open, man. So the father had the full extent of the law if he wanted to use them. Yep. Everybody was still working back then.
Yep.
And the fact that, again, I had to reiterate the point I made the other day about, these young men. He was with his son. Now imagine, in the case of Trayvon Martin, imagine Zimmerman being out there with his dad doing something like this, man. It's like, what are we teaching them? You know what I mean? What do they see, man, when they see us? This is sad, man, all the way around. And to the lady who mentioned something about Trump, I kind of see him in a different light now, man. I don't know if you ever saw this commercial where these kids are like in this horror movie thing, but it's a commercial. Mm-hmm. And they run to all the wrong places. This guy, his whole administration, it's like they're like, let's hide behind the chainsaw. let's run through the cemetery.
Yeah.
It's like a whole group of clowns, man. Running the country. Thank you, brother.
All right, man. I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let's go to Diane from Southwest on line 1. Dane from Southwest on line 1. Go ahead, Dane.
Yeah, good morning. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
All right. Nice to talk to you. I just wanted to say, like, I hear what the sister was saying. She's talking about all the brothers standing together in solidarity, just for the murders, for how we are treated in America. It's been going on for too long, and I'm only 46. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying, huh?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, what I'm saying is, I was at the second Million Man March. I was supposed to be at the first. I went to sleep. I was irresponsible, young. But the only thing I'm saying is, we got to stand together. I'm talking about even from a drug dealer to a little boy, everybody, every black man, we do have to do that. What she's saying is right. And our community not really going to change until the woman gets angry. Our black women get angry and say, we demand change. And they demand us to make it. Like, I felt her energy. She was saying not need to, but, it would be a good blessing if we did. I'm talking about anybody, JC, all of us, just stand together, arm in arm, lock, like, city to city, like we tired. We tired. It's over. America's shut down already. We can keep it shut down if we just implement what we really want from America. And then we got to, what else we got to do, Solomon? This is my opinion. Mm-hmm. We got to attack these laws. 13th, 14th Amendment, Judge Scott, all that. We got to attack those laws. All these politicians that's listening, y'all there, y'all good. We got to do clean community, that, this, and the third, stop the killings, that, this, and the third. But these laws on the books, that's what they respect. And that's what keeps us in check. The Constitution, those laws keep us in check. And they like, okay, we can do what we want. That's why they stand back like, Caucasians. I don't hate them. I don't hate anybody. You can't, as I read scripture, you can't have hate in your heart and say you love God and hate your brother. You can't get to heaven. So I read that scripture, I'm like, how can the Caucasian man say, I love all men, but he goes around humanitarian all around the world, but America's in turmoil. But you love everybody. Thank God we trust on the dollar. But then still a black man gets murdered for jogging. So how is that love? How can somebody say I love God and a man gets murdered for jogging?
Yeah.
And they walking around, you know, 2 shotguns. He got his son riding shotguns.
Yeah.
That's all. I mean, that's all. But
I hear you, man.
Those laws and do stand lock and lock solidarity. I think it will continue. And then the black women get on top of it.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you for my opinion. And I am going to become a member because, you know, we can voice our opinions. This is a good platform.
Yeah.
And I am going to support it financially because, yeah, we do need it.
Thank you. Thank you, Dane. We appreciate that. And thank you for your words and for your passion. I mean, you know, I think that we have to put our money where our mouth is, right? So one thing that has to be done is that, you know, you got to support platforms like WRD because we are sharing this information from a black perspective, because we are not only talking about the problem, but talking about solutions. So you can go to WURDradio.com to become a member. You can do that, right? That's one thing. But I think the other thing, when you talk about black men standing up, black men coming together, you know, I put together an organization called Man Up PHL. You can go to manupPHL.org. If you want to volunteer, you want to be part of what we're doing, sign up. Sign up. You know what I mean? And realize that it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Because here's what happens. You get thousands of black men who come together, and you come together for a moment, but not for a movement. And so we have to realize that this is a long-term struggle, that it really is not a sprint, that you have to stay and be involved and be engaged and be ready to move and be ready to help your brother, be ready to do what you have to do going forward. It's fine to have a one-day march. What you going to do after that? What's the plan and strategy after that? So I encourage you. You can go to manupPHL.org. You could sign up. You could be a volunteer. You could do whatever it is that you need to do, but realize it's not just for the moment. We're going to go to break on the other side. We're going to continue the show. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
If you want to start your morning with mindfulness, motivation, and inspiration, tune in to Daybreak with me, Helana, here on WURD Radio, Monday through Friday from 6 to 7 a.m. I'm a health and wellness coach with over 15 years experience helping people to transform their lives. On the show, we talk health and wellness 360, from getting your mind right to getting your money right. So let's rise and shine together right here on WURDradio.com, 96.1 FM, 900 on your AM dial on Daybreak every morning.
The game is about to start. Get your face out your phone.
Just a minute. I'm completing the 2020 census.
Why do you care?
Listen, the census will impact how and where public funds will flow in our communities each year. If we're counted, we'll get better funding for our schools, even affordable housing.
Wow. Well, I'm going to complete the census now.
All right, then. Let's take a shot.
Complete the census online, by phone, or by mail. Shape your future. Start here at 2020census.gov. Paid for by U.S. Census Bureau.
Enterprise Exterminators will evaluate and eliminate whatever pest problems you may have, specializing in bed bugs, fleas, mice, and roaches. Do-it-yourself kits available. Hurry down to 4943 Wayne Avenue now. 215-849-7070.
Save our black business. Join us for online shopping Wednesday and Thursday, May 6th and 7th. Enjoy beautiful handmade gifts. Partial proceeds go to support black doctors. Go to survivestrivethrive.org to join Zoom.
This is Wurd Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD Philadelphia.
Black Talk Media.
It's Wake Up with Wurd, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on Wurd Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with Word. And Mother's Day is this Sunday, and we want to honor our community's mothers by sharing their pictures. Join us in celebrating mothers and send us a photo of your mother or the special mother figure in your life and one of our favorite quotes. Email the picture and the quote to social media at WURDradio.com and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So send us a picture of your mother with one of her favorite sayings. Email the picture and the quote to social media at WURDradio.com and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So I want to hear from you. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD. We're talking about the heartbreaking shooting death of Ahmaud Arbery. He was jogging in Georgia in February, and he was confronted by two white men in a pickup, one with a shotgun. He was the son, the other with a pistol. He was the father and a former police officer. They confronted him and shot him 3 times, killing him. And they have not been charged. They have not been arrested. And that was months ago. The whole thing was caught on video. It was sent to a radio station in Georgia. They put it on Twitter, and it has gone viral. And now the family is represented by Lee Merritt. He is a lawyer who has represented families in many of these cases. But my question now is what do we do about it? I mean, we talk about these things, and we need to talk about it, and we need to understand it, because there's still black people out here who will tell you, oh, there's no such thing as racism. You just got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And well, okay, I ain't got no boots, let alone straps. So now what? And I feel like we have to help each other in these moments. We have to educate each other on what we're dealing with as far as race in this country. We have to uplift each other economically. I think we have to have a spiritual foundation. And I think we have to love each other enough to care not only about our own lives, but to care about our brothers' lives, right? And I think that there are brothers who are already there. I see them every day dealing with them with Man Up, right? And one of the things that has to happen is that beyond the moment of a march, there has to be a plan. There has to be a strategy. There have to be outcomes that you're looking for, right? You have to be able to measure what it is that you're doing, and you have to be able to assign people to specific areas to work on specific things. What are you good at? What do you do? Okay, you work on the legal aspect. What are you good at? What do you do? Okay, you work on the social aspect. What are you good at? What do you do? Okay, you make phone calls, you do emails, you do Zooms, whatever it is that we do, that it has to be organized. There has to be some organization to it, and we have to realize what we're good at and what we're not. So, you know, when we put together Man Up, I realized that I needed to bring in some folks to help us with organizing, right? And so we brought in a volunteer coordinator, a young woman named Jasmine Schley. She's been doing a fantastic job, right? We put together a board, with Brian Ellis, who's an educator, and Jeffrey Brown, who owns ShopRights, and Akbar Hassan, who does finance. Like, we put together a board. We put together leaders, volunteer leaders in different areas, a leader of the community outreach team, a leader of the phone team, a leader of the social work team. We empowered people to lead in specific areas. Like, that's how you build, and that's how you last. And so it's great to talk about having a march, having a one-day event. What's the plan after that? I was at the Million Man March. I was there. And it was a phenomenal moment. It was an inspirational moment, but there was really no plan afterward. That was my disappointment with it. And so, we can talk about we need to stand up. All right. What's the plan, though? Right? And are we willing to follow leadership? That's the other thing, right? So, you know, if one person does something, you know, you'll have, and there were some people, man, that I was really disappointed in when I saw them kind of, you know, they taking pot shots and throwing rocks. And I'm like, man, I didn't even know you was about that, bruh. You know what I mean? Like, you try to do something positive and you got people in your own community, they going to stand up and criticize it before it even moves forward. So, you know, you have that, but then you have people who, well, I can't follow you, so I'm going to start something just like what you're doing, and then we become divided. So are we willing to follow leadership? Y'all can talk about Trump all you want. The racists saw him and said, that's our leader. We're going to follow him. No matter what he says or what he does, we're going to follow him. We're going to support it. We're going to make excuses for it, you know, and that's what they're doing. You know, and we have to learn how to follow leadership. And we have to learn that we don't know everything. I don't know everything. And so sometimes I got to bring in people to help all the time. If I really want to move and do something, then guess what? We got to bring in some people that's going to help. I just think that, you know, this is a moment where it's a teachable moment for all of us. And we've been here before, but during this crisis, we have to learn how to help each other through. If we can do that, then we could do anything. We could do anything. I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. Let's go to Al from Germantown on line 2. Go ahead, Al.
Good morning to you, Solomon Jones.
Good morning, brother.
My comment, I'm sitting here listening, and I get a chance to listen every now and then. I'm always encouraged by different things I hear on this program. But that was a broad brush that woman painted black men with.
Yeah, it was.
As, you know, for myself and various, you know, incidents in my lifetime against the aggression of men, period, whether it's black, white, Hispanic, you name it. You know, there's always somebody that's going to get into your face and try to disrespect you. But what gets me about these incidents, it's always them being offended by a black man defending himself, and it always leads to these white guys, because it's been white guys, killing them for standing up and defending themselves.
Yeah, I hear you.
I mean, that's what it's been. So Trayvon Martin, the various black men have been defending themselves, and they wind up being killed for it.
Yeah, I hear you, and I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD. Let's go to Beverly from Burlington, New Jersey on line 3. Go ahead, Beverly.
Good morning, Solomon.
Good morning.
WURD. I agree with everything that you say about organizing. I think a march is good, but just like you say, it only lasts for a day. And those in authority, governors, state legislatures, Republicans in authority, they don't care about a march because they know once the march is over, we're going to go home, and that's going to be it. We're going to go home feeling good. I would like to see us organized to the point where we become a powerful voting bloc. Just like you said about the people who followed Trump. The Senate, they won't do anything because that base, they know that Republican base is going to go out and vote. I would love to see us become that powerful voting bloc where those in authority will consider, if we don't do right, the black people, African American, are going to go out and vote us out. And I hope to see that in November. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you so much. I think the one thing that I will say is that we're already a powerful voting bloc. But again, it comes down to strategy. It comes down to step-by-step movement. I'll give an example. So when the whole Facebook thing happened with police officers in Philadelphia, I called the people to the street. We did a protest, and even then, I'm fighting my own people, right? but we went out, we did a protest, and we did it with an end game in mind. We had been strategizing behind the scenes before the protest. Okay, we're going to do the protest. We're going to go to police headquarters. We're going to do this protest. Right? And we're going to make specific demands. right? We wanted the police officers who engaged in this racism on Facebook, we wanted them fired. We wanted them removed from the street until an investigation could take place. We wanted a meeting with the mayor and the police commissioner. We wanted results. And guess what? We did the protest. It made national news. We got our meetings. We voiced our demands. And we got much of what we wanted because there was a plan, right? But not only did we plan that we were going to go and we were going to protest, we were going to meet with the mayor, we were going to meet with the police commissioner, we were also going to go to city council. We did that. And so the point I'm making is that, you know, we can talk about marching, and that's fine. What is the plan? What is the strategy? Because some people think that, you know, we do these marches and it's about you getting up screaming and hollering and saying it just anything. No, it's not about that. What is the strategy? What are your demands? What do you want? And what is your fallback position? That's how you get results. We got a black female police commissioner. We demanded that. We demanded that, right? And so, you know, we have to understand that it goes beyond just a march. So I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. Nothing wrong with marching. What is your end game? Beverly, Janice from Overbrook is on line 4. Go ahead, Janice.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I usually don't even get into this kind of stuff, but people are getting on my nerves. I think we need to go home. I think we need to clean up our own backyard before we get out there and try to clean up somebody else's. Our children are in the street. Our men are running from women to women. They got drugs. We got crime. We don't respect each other. How can you expect others to respect you? That boy died because white people know nothing is going to come out of the black neighborhood, nothing concrete anyway. You need to go home and clean up your own foundation. They want you to get out in the street and act like the fools that we portray ourselves to be. I mean, some of us are mad and angry and want to get out there and do something, but there's not enough of us together to make a difference. But our home base is where we need to clean up because that's where our power is. If we can get our own families together, then we can straighten out some other stuff that's going on around here, and that's all I got to say.
All right, Janice, I want to thank you, but again, I think that's a broad brush because I think a lot of our families are together. I think a lot of men are married to our women. I think that there are people who are organized and working behind the scenes on these issues. And it's you know, there are a lot of different organizations doing work, but I think one of the problems is that the organizations need to learn how to work together instead of working against each other, instead of competing against each other. And so I hear you, and I think that certainly you make some points, but I think it. So me respecting myself. If let me just play this out. Me respecting myself is going to make a racist respect me when really he doesn't like black people no matter what they do. It was an old joke. What do you call a black doctor? Right? An N-word. Because, and the point of that is that no matter what you do, no matter what you achieve, no matter what title you have to them, you're still that N-word, right? And so I don't know about the respect yourself argument, right, to make other people, you know, I think we have to certainly clean up our own home base, but not to affect how other people feel about us, but I think to affect how we feel about ourselves. Victoria Green is on line 1. Go ahead.
Good morning, Solomon.
Good morning.
Good morning. This case is heartbreaking. It is. I was telling Kuwait, it's heartbreaking. I couldn't even watch the video because I lost my son, my only son, to violence in the street. I couldn't even watch it. And I truly believe that this was a hunt. This man has done this before and gotten away with it. I believe it. This wasn't the first time. And, you know, he knows it's going to be a cover-up. And it's really, and I'm with you, Solomon, we can't operate wanting them to accept us and
is a racist. It's ingrained in them.
Yep.
And look at what he's teaching his son.
Yep.
And how do you get that out of them? I feel it's a waste of time. And I'm with you, Solomon. Power concedes nothing without a demand.
That's right.
Nothing.
That's right.
We have to have a demand. I went to the Million Man March. And like you said, it was a powerful, inspirational moment. I've never felt so safe in my life.
Yeah.
But I was disappointed because there was no plan. It was nothing. So we have to have a strategy.
Yep.
We have to, and as you say, there are many homes, many families, loving husbands.
Yep.
See, that's propaganda. That's been taught to us over what? I don't even how many years. And that's part of that self-hate that we have been taught, and it's not true. So, Solomon,
yes,
what can we do? What can we do?
I'm praying about it. I'm praying about it and thinking about it, and I'm going to talk to some leaders in our community about it because I think that, there are some things that can be done, and I think this is a moment of opportunity for us. And so I'm going to come back with something, but I need to really think about it, pray about it, and talk to some other people about it as well, because I think that we have an opportunity here and we can't let it pass.
That's true, and I would like to be included.
Okay.
And what can we do?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. All right.
You.
Thank you, and I appreciate your call this morning on WURD. We're going to try to get in one more because we got Jay McCalla coming up. Miss Mary from Winfield is online, too. Go ahead, Miss Mary.
And good morning, my son, and thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome.
And good morning to my Wurd family. As always, you're so right. You can't be wrong. We need to stop being the crabs in the barrel. We need to take everything that we have, the greatest power, mind, blackness that we have, and unite. We've seen it happen with Martin Luther King, how the insiders were jealous. We've seen it happen with Malcolm. We just need to use every God-given intelligence.
Yeah.
And just like you said, 45, ignorant, whatever you want to call him, but look how he got his base.
Yep.
Look how he has his base.
Yep.
Take a page out of that book, my black people, men and women, and our young people. Take a page out of that book, because we can, because it was our God-given right. As far as Atlanta, that's generational hatred because of the color of their skin. And once we as a people realize that it is generational, then that's when we can unite. We don't have to get them to respect us, to like us. Let's do it ourselves to each other.
There you go.
Bless my family. Happy Mother's Day to every mother and grandmother out there.
Thank you, Miss Mary. We appreciate you, and thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD. On the other side, we're going to talk with Jay McCalla. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
What's up, Philly? It's sincerely Sarita. I have a message from Commonwealth Charter Academy, an online K-12 public school available at no cost to families. A bright light has been cast on the advantages of homeschooling. Visit ccaeducate.me and learn more fall enrollment. CCA provides internet service reimbursement, a laptop computer, and a headset, all at no cost to you. Visit ccaeducate.me today.
Have you received your stimulus check yet? Hi, this is Philadelphia Congressman Brendan Boyle. I wanted to let you know that Congress recently passed legislation to give financial relief to many who are now affected by the coronavirus crisis. These payments are meant to help you get through these tough times. So to get information on how to get your payment and to receive my newsletter with updates, please go to boyle.house.gov.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
No fear, just facts. This is WURD, independent black media.
West Philadelphia Promise Neighborhood community meal locations for children and families. PHA Grab and Go Meals. West Park Apartments, 300 North Busty Street, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Lunches, Mighty Riders, 3520 Fairmount Avenue, Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. For families, box of groceries, one per household, to be given out at People's Emergency Center, 3750 Lancaster Avenue, Mondays and and Thursdays, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. For a full listing of meal sites, go to phillyfoodfinder.org. For more information for West Philadelphia Promise Neighborhood offerings, please go to wordradio.com and click on the WPPN banner ad for more information.
Want the latest in Word swag?
Check out the shop tab on wordradio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. The shop tab on wordradio.com. Show the world that you're all about black.
Talk Media.
Now, a traffic update
on Word Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Still a pretty good ride as we move on this morning. Stay-at-home area order in the tri-state area remains in effect. Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware still in pretty good shape overall. Now, Pennsylvania, Schuylkill Expressway eastbound. Watch for slowing between the Conshohocken Curve and the area of Gladwin. There is some police activity off to the right shoulder. Going to slow you down just a bit there. Eastbound 76 heading into Center City. Westbound, no major problems. 95 looks good. Looking at the Blue River both ways. 95 through the Schuylkill Expressway. Still just a 14-minute ride there. Not bad at all. Major roads in Jersey, 42, 55, 295, quite as well. These are challenging times, and Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans is prepared to help. If you need mortgage assistance, contact their team 24/7 at rocketmortgage.com. From their home to yours, the team at Rocket Mortgage is with you. Visit rocketmortgage.com. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on Word Radio,
96.1 FM
and 900 AM WURD.
His voice quivered. Nobody repents better than a politician who's been caught. I think basically they're just annoyed that they didn't say it first. I sat down on the train. Next thing I know, I'm standing here in the lobby of the Trump Plaza.
How did I get here?
I don't know. Clearly there was an endorsement that was going to happen that day.
And now, Jay McCallum, only on Wake Up with Word.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with Word. Joining us now, Jay McCallum. He held senior positions in both the Rendell and Street administrations, a veteran political consultant. McCallum's work has been published in the Philadelphia Inquirer, Philadelphia Magazine, and the Chestnut Hill Local. He brings deep knowledge to politics and does so from an African-American perspective. Jay, good morning.
Good morning, Solomon. How you feeling?
You know, I'm okay. I'm a little down today. We've been talking about this case of Ahmaud Arbery. He's a 25-year-old man jogging in Georgia. Father and son pull up on him in a pickup, claim they thought he was somebody who had been burglarizing houses in the neighborhood, and they shoot him dead. Just heartbreaking, Jay.
Yeah.
And it's go ahead.
Yeah, I'm thinking it reveals the fact that there are a lot of folks who are out hunting. You know, George Zimmerman was hunting. He was prepared. He thought he was actually authorized, you know, as a member of Town Watch. And I wonder, because every now and then these things peek through the surface that have been going on for generations, maybe since slavery. And we see it. Folks go hunting for us. That's what's so sad.
Yeah.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it really is. And you know, it goes to political will as well, because this isn't the first time this has happened. It might not even be the first time they've done something like this. But I don't see anything happening around this politically, Jay. Do you?
No, it's too hot. It's just too hot an issue right now. God bless him, Joe Biden's fondest desire is to pull Trump voters to his side. You know, he doesn't want to do anything to offend white voters on any level, and no white politician does. No black politician wants to offend black voters. It's just the way politicians are. So I don't see anything happening. I see Al Sharpton being upset. You are upset. You're deeply moved by it. You love your people. We are moved. But I don't see anything happening. I really don't. They think it ended with Martin Luther King and the civil rights struggle, and they were upset to have to sit through that.
Yeah, I think that we have to make something happen. I do, and I think that there has to be a demand around this. And so, for me, I think this is a moment where it's an opportunity because black folk gonna have to work together anyway. Because too many of us out of work, too many of us are at work, which is probably even more dangerous. And we're gonna have to help each other through this anyway. And so. I'm going to be interested to see what comes out of this from our community because, to your point, I just don't think we can depend on any political structure to really handle this for us. I think we got to handle it for ourselves. So we will see. We will see. So let's talk a little politics because a recent study by researchers from 4 universities found that counties with higher numbers of blacks account for nearly 60% of deaths from the coronavirus, and an epidemiologist called the slow reaction to the disease genocide by default because so many people of color are dying. How does race play out in the politics of this virus, Jay? What do you think?
Solomon, I'll tell you, epidemiologists don't get much love or attention in this world, and this fellow decided to fix that by using a flashy term like genocide by default. So good for him. He's trying to break out of the mold. Let's face it, a black person who knows about the Tuskegee experiment would be just loony to trust the motives of the American government. And the same thing applies to Native Americans. It was winter, and the Army provided Indians blankets to keep them warm through the cold. Turns out that the Army deliberately gave them blankets infected with smallpox. Now, that was clearly an effort at genocide. But genocide, by definition, has to be deliberate and systematic. It makes it sound like somebody's doing something to us, and I don't believe that's necessarily the case. In fact, I was reading this morning that in the BBC online that in England, if you're black, your chances of catching the virus are doubled. But I don't know that the conditions of race in England are a whole lot different than the conditions of race here. Because black folks catching the devil with this virus is as American as apple pie. It's just true to form, and it doesn't require a conspiracy. Because of racism, we receive the worst public education, the worst housing, the worst health care, the worst food, the worst jobs, and zero police protection. As a result, we suffer hypertension, diabetes, depression, heart disease, and you name it, and we've got it. Merely living in America is a threat, a daily threat to our immune system. So you take these decent folks, all with underlying health conditions, and put them in the front lines: cashiers, front desk person, security guard, bus driver, hospital attendant, Uber driver. It's not surprising that we're dying at a shocking rate. And I wonder how many of us died because the nurse or the doctor didn't take our complaint seriously or didn't think we deserved one of their precious little tests. Take a look at the Smithfield Ham slaughterhouse where 800 frontline employees were infected. I can guarantee you that those folks who were infected were not named Chad, Tad, or Brett. It was our black and brown brothers and sisters who were packed shoulder to shoulder on the slaughterhouse floor, spreading that virus that the boss man never caught. Solomon, I wouldn't choose the word genocide. I just call it America on a day that ends in Y.
Every day. Every day. And I think that, I tend to agree with you, Jay, because again, when I think about the definition of genocide, it is a purposeful killing of a group of people. That's what genocide is by definition. But I think that the neglect in handling this thing, shows a lack of respect for black life, for brown life, for the people who are most likely to catch this thing. One of the things that's been curious to me is watching Donald Trump and all of his people walk around with no masks on.
I love it.
You know what I mean? It's been interesting to me because I'm like, okay, well, do y'all know y'all not going to catch this? Like, what? Why are you doing that? That's weird.
That's pretty cocky, isn't it? That's very showy. He and his vice president, they don't wear masks.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
It's like a poker game, and that might be a tell. You know? I'm glad you observed that because I had not, and you're right.
Yeah. Do they know something we don't know? I don't know, but I think from a political standpoint, this is something that that's harmed the president. So Monmouth University just came out with a poll. Looks like Donald Trump is about 9 points behind Joe Biden in a general election face-off, and so that's surprising that it's not a bigger a bigger margin, but you don't really see Joe Biden a lot. You see Donald Trump every day. Crazy as he is, there are a lot of his followers that like crazy. They like it.
Yeah, there are. In my school, when I grew up, we had what we called special class for the kids that had behavioral issues and things like that. And I think that's what we've got out here on the street. People have been released from special class, and they're the rowdies, and we're smart. We can do stuff. You know, we're not dumb. We might not know math, but we can yell. And you got these people out there who don't have the ability to reason. They say wear a mask. They say stay 6 feet apart. No, we're independent. We can do what we want. You know, fine. Let them stay out there.
Yeah, it's interesting, but it's also interesting what's happening at the state level because Republican leaders for the Michigan State House and Senate filed a lawsuit against Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer this week, claiming that her extension of the state's state of emergency was unlawful and goes against the Michigan Constitution. She wants to listen to doctors. They want to listen to Trump. Where's this going, Jay?
Solomon, I don't think their suit's going to go anywhere. Governors have extraordinary power in emergency. In a heavy snowstorm, they can order you not to drive, to stay home, and they can impose curfews if they think it's necessary. So executive power in our country, if you're an elected official, that's pretty well established. But frankly, I hope they win. If they want to go to a mall, drink at a crowded bar, listen to the country western music, and go to some punk rock concert, I say let them. Let them. I'm staying home until there are 14 days of declining infections, just like Dr. Fauci told me to. The very next day, after restrictions were lifted in Florida and Georgia, the infection rates jumped. When they opened up their hair salons and their gyms, the infections will jump even higher again. Some folks need to learn the hard way, so let them. At least they'll be smarter when it's over. But the saddest thing about these white supremacists, and that's who really this whole open up the government, open up the country movement has attracted, these white supremacists and gun nuts, they've been drawn into this fight, and they're being used by rich white folks. They think they're fighting for white freedom, but they're too stupid to notice that they're standing alone. They look around. Where are the rich whites?
Yeah.
It's just them. Fat, toothless, beer-belching, and loud. Where are the middle-class whites? No, they're home. It's just them, and they haven't noticed that. They're too stupid to wonder where all the other white folks are. They don't know it, but they are the shock troops of American capitalism. They do the work of the rich who own the movie theaters, the car dealerships, and the restaurant chains. Solomon, my friend, they are too stupid to understand that rich white folks have as much contempt for poor whites as they do for poor blacks.
You preaching now. You was preaching now. Let me tell you something, Jay. I mean, you know, that's how it works. You know, if the elite, if the 1%, if rich white people who own most of everything, you know, can convince poor white people that somehow they have some affiliation to them just based on their skin color, well, then they can get them to do and believe almost anything.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You and me, J.R. Ewing, you drive a Cadillac Seville, you own oil wells, but you and me, we's white together, right? No, my brother.
Yeah.
You're parking my car. You're parking my car. You know? They don't get it.
No.
And they need to learn more about economics.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
White don't mean everything. It's about we are a capitalist country first.
Yeah.
First and foremost.
Yeah. And it's deep because they get thrown a few crumbs and believe that, you know, they're better. And it's like if you can convince somebody that, you know, something that you haven't earned, something that you haven't done just gives you an inherent superiority, well, then, you know, they will do anything that you say as long as you keep telling them that they are superior. You don't have to do anything for it. You don't have to work for it. You don't have to get any education. You don't have to do anything. You're superior just because you were born with lighter skin than these other people.
And look at them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Look at them. They're uppity. They want to take away your privilege. They didn't earn it. They weren't born white. They want to take it away. So you need to do something about that. They're suckers.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a shame, man. And I'm watching them, and I'm really waiting. It's probably been about 2 weeks. I want to see what the infection rate is like in Michigan now. You know what I mean? That's what I want to see. I want to see what happens after you all stood there together screaming in each other's faces, no masks on. I want to see what happens now with the infection rate in that community. That's what I'm curious about.
Yeah, and yeah, it's going to go up. It goes up every time. And it's science, the word they hate. It's science. It goes up. It's, you know, golly, Moses. It does leave you without words that people can be this dumb.
Yeah, it's deep. And we're going to talk a little bit more about it on the other side of this break with Jay McCalla, because we got to talk about what Trump said yesterday about the White House and the coronavirus task force. So we're going to talk about that on the other side with Jay McCalla. It's Blackball Politics. I'm Solomon Jones. He's Jay McCalla. We'll be right back.
Seniors, if you're over the age of 60, you're at high risk for the coronavirus. This is Dr. Chris Chen, CEO of Dedicated Senior Medical Centers, with an important message. These are challenging times for all of us, but especially for you. At Dedicated, we're working hard to help our patients stay healthy, happy, and at home. We understand you need us, and that's why we offer doctor phone visits and delivery or pickup medication services. In fact, if you need to see a doctor, we'll even pick you up. Our centers remain open to see you by phone or in person now, when you need medical advice the most. Seniors, if you need a primary care doctor who is available to you now and always will be, we can help. Please call us at 800-451-7008. That's 800-451-7008. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay at home.
Save our black business. Join us for online shopping Wednesday and Thursday, May 6th and 7th. Enjoy beautiful handmade gifts. Partial proceeds go to support black doctors. Go to survive.thrive.org to join Zoom.
Business owners, be proactive before you open back up. Did you get treated with NanoShield? What is NanoShield? It's 90-day antimicrobial surface protection, applied in a spray that kills COVID-19 and all germs that come in contact with its surfaces after they've been treated. Our team at NanoShield will clean your HVAC vents and filters from mold and mildew for free. For fresh air in your facilities, go to nanoviruskill.com or call 267-831-7718. NanoShield is EPA and FDA approved. Clean air, fresh minds.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen.
For late nights writing English papers.
For your teen's music taste.
For dinners where they talk more on their phone than with you.
For the first time, they call you mom.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen, and you can't imagine the reward.
To learn more about adopting a teen, visit adoptuskids.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
He's back.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton.
Keeping it real with the Reverend Al Sharpton.
In times like these, we have to stay connected.
At a brand new time.
Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. till midnight.
I'm excited that Keeping It Real returns to WURD.
Keeping it real.
With the Reverend Al Sharpton.
Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. till midnight.
Keep it locked to WURD 96.1 FM, 900 AM, WURDradio.com.
It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on Word Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with Word. We're talking politics with Jay McCalla. Now, Jay, I want to talk about something that the president said yesterday. He said that the White House coronavirus task force would continue on indefinitely. Now, this was just a day after he said that the coronavirus task force would be disbanded. Trump is caught between the economy and a hard place when it comes to this virus. What should he do, in your view, with this task force? What do you think?
Well, I'll tell you, Solomon, this is one of the big dangers of Trump. He's a greedy little piggy who respects money far more than anything else on earth, and this virus is getting in the way of money. Human lives aren't even in the equation. As I mentioned earlier, the meatpacking industry has been plagued with thousands of infections. Almost every single slaughterhouse has become a corona hotspot. But Trump doesn't care. He specifically ordered meat processors to stay open, no matter how many people get infected. Closing the virus task force would send a signal that the virus is ending.
Right.
And that's Trump's specialty, gaslighting America. But let's face it, the Corona Task Force isn't worth the paper it's written on. We have shortages of everything we need. We've done precious little testing. New York is using mass graves. We've lost more Americans in the last 7 weeks than we've lost in the entire length of the Vietnam War. The task force has already failed, and I see no reason to keep it anymore. The governors of the states are making their own alliances, and they're making their own decisions. The election is in 6 months, and Trump is desperate to make everything seem cool, calm, and collected, but it ain't. The captain of our ship is crazy, and that's going to take a lot of folks down with him. But not black folks, interestingly, because, Solomon, you know our folks. We'll just sit on a bench and say, I told you so. And that'll be the end of that. We ain't going down. We ain't going down with this nonsense, going to the malls. Nah, I think we got too much sense for that. And the public opinion polls show it. Folks aren't in a hurry to open up these stores. They are not.
Yeah, and that's deep. And you know, it just shows the level of, I think, fear, but I think it's a healthy fear. That people are like, no, this is a virus. We understand now a little bit better how viruses work, and no, I don't really want to be near other people right now. Like people are like, nah, you know what? No, I'd rather stay home. I'd rather, take my chances not being in the mall, not being in the movies, not being in the gym, not being at the bowling alley. Like that's the foolishness that you hear from the governor of Georgia. Like, let's open up bowling alleys, let's open up gyms where everybody is touching the same things. Like, but I think regular folks are like, no, I don't think so.
No. I love my friends. I love my family.
Yep.
But I can wait. I can wait to see them. I can.
Yeah.
I can talk to them. I can Skype with them. I've got, and fear. Fear is the beginning of wisdom. You know. So I'm not going to not being afraid. I don't want to die, and I know that God has given me the wisdom to avoid. A car jumps the curb and runs me down. Can't help it. But being around crowds where there's a virus that's killing people, I think the death toll in America now is 70,000. That kind of thing I can avoid, and I'm going to.
Yeah, and I think that most Americans see it that way. It's not just black folks. Most Americans are like, no, I think it's a little bit too soon. In polling, that has been the result, and so we'll see. We'll see what the president does. But I think what you said is interesting about the coronavirus task force not being worth the paper it's written on. I think you've got a point, because they can't really say the truth without consequences. Like, Dr. Fauci will say something truthful and then he disappears from the press conferences. That kind of stuff.
And he starts getting hate mail.
Yeah.
So, this hasn't helped anybody.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they get in a little bit of truth where they can, and then Trump undermines it. They get in a little bit of truth where they can, and then you're right. They start getting hate mail from Trump supporters. Oh, you're just trying to be against the president. No, we got over 1 million people infected with this virus. Like, are you insane? Like, you better listen to these doctors. Trump telling people inject disinfectant. They listening to him. Doing it. Doing it, Jay.
And I can see it in Jonestown. When Jim Jones wanted to shut down that camp, that crazy little camp, he was that crazy little leader, and he told them, I've got something for you in this cup.
Yeah.
Now, folks in this country might not be old enough to remember where the phrase drinking the Kool-Aid came from.
That's right.
But that came from Jim Jones.
That's
He mixed
right.
Kool-Aid with the poison, so the kids and everybody would think it's a little bit of fun and not really know his intentions. And that sounds a lot like Mr. Trump.
Yeah.
I'm trying to put a little sweetener in here so you don't really know my truest intentions. That's dark.
Yeah, that is dark. And yeah, Jonestown, Guyana, who could forget it, man? Got these people put the Kool-Aid together and put poison in it and had them all commit mass suicide. It was crazy. And it's an apt comparison, so I want to thank you for making it.
Sorry for having to.
So let's talk about what's happening here. So in Pennsylvania, Governor Wolf won't support a bill to give the public access to government records during a disaster declaration. A lot of people want to know why certain businesses got exemptions from shutting down, and that's in those records. He's not opening up those records at this time, despite demands from those in the legislature. And in Philadelphia, key members of council want to pass legislation telling renters they don't have to pay rent, but it's unclear what protections they would provide for small landlords who need the money in the face of property tax hikes that are going to take place because the city has a big deficit. What do you make of the local politics of this week, Jay?
Well, I'll tell you, we haven't seen a whole lot of Governor Wolf's true nature, because Republicans run stuff up there, and he hasn't had much of a voice. But he's dead wrong in opposing public access to any state document.
Yeah.
And it didn't occur to me until you mentioned it. Specifying in an emergency, I'm sure emergency contracts for flying, no-bid contracts for flying through the air. How is it that beer distributorships are open and dry cleaners aren't? Yeah, a whole lot of fast, nasty decisions were made in Harrisburg about who's going to be permitted to get rich, stay rich, who's going to be forced to be poor, and that's where politicians live. They have power then, and so the only reason I can think of any public denying public access to public records is if it embarrasses somebody. All of this stuff should record public transactions. And unless there's some funny business, Wolf shouldn't care. But apparently there was funny business because Wolf cares a lot. When it comes to council, I love the idea that somebody on city council is thinking of the poor, but this idea of a rent moratorium isn't even half-baked. It's all political nonsense, in my opinion. The moratorium depends completely on the state and federal government providing what they call comprehensive assistance to Philadelphia. And that's why I call this political nonsense. Even the politicians who proposed this know that there is absolutely no way there's going to be an aid package coming to Philly combining Harrisburg and Washington money. Solomon, all politicians love to gaslight just a little bit. But this is the case of the gaslight coming from the political left. They're trying to mimic the behavior of the governor of New York and some European prime ministers, but we're not set up that way. You can't say, don't pay your rent, and we'll cross our fingers that an angel drops a bag of gold on our desk, and we can distribute that instead of your rent. This is pie in the sky. If they want to do something, they could come out there, and right now I understand that illegal evictions are going through the roof in this city. And if they want to do something, pass some tougher laws. Make a jail required for a landlord that evicts somebody, puts somebody on the street unjustly. That's a stench in the nostrils of God. Put somebody on the street without just cause. So if they want to do something, they can. They can increase the penalties for bad landlords. They can raise the standards to make landlords better. There's a lot they can do, but this they can't do, and they know they can't do it.
We'll see. I mean, it's. I think the other part of it, and the part I think that's directly connected to this, Jay, is that the mayor has proposed property tax hikes. Right, we're probably going to have those property tax hikes. Other taxes are going to go up. And at the same time, you're telling people who own property in the city of Philadelphia, by the way, you're not going to get your rent, but we're still going to hike the taxes on your property.
Yeah.
All I could do is laugh because it's like, what are you, huh? So you setting people up to lose their property.
Yes. That's that phrase, picking winners or losers.
Yeah.
You're going to have somebody on the street. You're either going to have the tenant on the street or you're going to have the landlord on the street. You got to pick one. Under this scenario, you got to pick who's going to be on the street. And it doesn't have to be that way. You know, the mayor can lay off cops. He's not even thinking about laying off cops or fire people.
No.
You know, lay them off and then give them the difference between what they get on unemployment and what their salary would have been.
Yeah.
Nobody gets hurt, and we save a fortune. We got 6,000 cops. I would bet. And you know what? I learned maybe 20 years ago that there are never more than 400 cops on the street at any given time. So we got 6,000 cops. No more than 400 are working a shift. We can do without some of these guys and save a fortune. Bring them back in 6 months. But raising taxes when our taxes are too high and we get too little for it? No, Mr. Kenny, please do not do that. I will wind up not liking you even more.
Yeah, well, I think that's
a promise.
I think that's what's going to happen. And, you know, the city's facing a $650 million deficit. No matter what they do, no matter what they cut, somebody's going to be unhappy. But my thing is this. Spread the pain. Spread the pain. Like, so, you know, I think everybody should have to sacrifice something. I still think that they should get rid of the tax abatement. Now, I got in contact with the Kennedy administration. I'll be writing about it, and I appreciate them answering. They said if you cut the tax abatement now, that wouldn't do anything now. It would do something a couple years down the line. Well, guess what? If it's going to do something a couple years down the line, cut it anyway. Stop it anyway. Because it's not fair. It's not right. You know it. I know it. The people who get it know it. Like, you know, so cut it anyway. That's my view. But I think that, you know, when you get into almost symbolic type gestures that hurt people who aren't the people that you are trying to appeal to, I don't think that's right. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's productive, and I don't think it's fair.
And you know what? When they say it'll only help with the future, what's wrong with helping the future? We're going to be here.
Yep.
You know, and that's the problem with these politicians. They govern for today. They don't care about tomorrow. That's how we got this dumb drop program that Ed Rendell introduced, where not only do you get a pension, you get this lavish lump sum of money.
Yeah.
He was thinking of today, not the future. Because today, that drop program is a very bad idea.
Yeah. Yeah, it absolutely is. It absolutely is. So we'll see what happens. I think that there are a lot of difficult decisions that are being made politically now, and everybody's not going to be happy about it. But I do think that the job of those who are representing us is to represent everybody. That means the least of these. That means, you know, those who have resources. That means those who don't. And so we got to be watchful and see what happens with this, Jay. So get your popcorn ready.
Amen. Amen. I'm here with you. I'm right here with you.
All right. That is Jay McCalla. Jay McCalla, of course, held senior positions in both the Rendell and Street administrations. A veteran political consultant, McCalla's work has been published in the Philadelphia Inquirer, Philadelphia Magazine, and the Chestnut Hill Local. He brings deep knowledge to politics and does so from an African-American perspective. Jay, thanks so much.
Always an honor.
All right. We are going to go to break on the other side. Going to talk a little small business with Pamela Rich Wheeler, as well as David Sims of Eatable Delights. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Get your money straight. Get my money right. It's Solomon Jones and Akbar Hassan. Fridays on Wake Up with Wurd. 7 a.m. till 10 a.m. Hosted by Solomon Jones. Exclusively on Wurd Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and on the Wurd Radio app.
Pico has many ways to help you lower your energy usage and save money at home. Here's one. If your heating and cooling system is more than 20 years old, it may be time for your contractor to replace it with a high-efficiency Energy Star certified model. You'll get a rebate from Pico and save on your monthly electric bill. You'll find a list of new heating and cooling system rebates at pico.com/rebates. Or you can call 1-888-5-PICO-SAVE for all the details. Plus, find instant discounts on smart thermostats and more at pico.com/marketplace. There's free shipping on orders over $49.
Listen to Laborers Live.
We created the weekend. We created the 40-hour work week. We just want enough to feed our family, be able to send our children to college, and let our next generation do better than we did.
To people that might have forgot how important unionism is in a country like the United States. People now infringing on our 8-hour workday, trying to work people more than 8 hours without overtime, trying to work people without benefits. In the long run, everybody's getting a fat paycheck except the worker. So this is really a wake-up call for America.
The struggle is continuous. Tune in to Laborers Live every Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. Sponsored by LESIT, the Laborers Employers Cooperation Education Trust of the Laborers District Council of Philadelphia and vicinity.
Local 332, Sam Staten Jr. Business Manager. Local 57, Esteban Vera Business Manager. Local 135, Dan Woodall Jr. Business Manager. Local 413, James Harper Jr. Business Manager. The Laborers District Council, Ryan Boyer Business Manager, and Tony Staten, Executive Director of LESIT.
Temple University's School of Pharmacy is making hand sanitizer to support local hospitals and doctors' offices. We are looking for donations of spray bottles to store our upcoming batches. If you have any you would like to donate, please bring or mail them to Temple University's School of Pharmacy, care of Dr. David Lee Bowe, 3307 North Broad Street, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 19140. Visit temple.edu to learn more about how Temple University is helping Philadelphia during COVID-19.
Lifting every voice till earth and heaven ring. This is Wurd Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Black Talk Media. You're waking up with Wurd. Hosted by Solomon Jones. Good morning. Right now on Wurd Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
If I could, I'd give you the world, wrap it all around you. Won't be satisfied with just a piece of his heart, my angel, oh angel.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM and 96.1 FM WURD. I want to welcome you Back to Wake Up with Word. We're talking small business. It's a series of conversations we're having with small Black-owned businesses and experts who can help them navigate this serious crisis. Joining us now is Pamela Rich Wheeler. She is Executive Director of the Biz Center. Pamela Rich Wheeler, good morning.
Good morning.
And we're also joined by David Sims. He is the founder and owner of Eatable Delights. David, good morning.
Good morning, Solomon. How are you?
I'm doing well, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
That's good. That's good. And so you can watch us on Facebook. We are streaming our Zoom on Facebook, so you can see David and Pamela as we have this conversation about some of the challenges that small businesses are facing during this crisis. David, we'll start with you. Because a lot of small businesses, and especially small businesses in the Black community, have faced some challenges during this time. You, of course, are in food and food service, but we have our barbers, we have our beauty salons, we have other businesses which could not stay open during this time. What are some of the challenges that you faced during this time, and some of the challenges that you heard from your fellow Black business owners during this time?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you for having me on your radio show this morning.
You're welcome.
And good morning to Pamela as well.
Good morning.
Just basically, I'm an off-premise caterer. I don't have a hall. I don't have a location that I call home. So basically what happened was we had events scheduled the first weekend when things shut down, and our events simultaneously started getting canceled.
Mm-hmm.
The Thursday of the third weekend of March, I had a 60th birthday party and a 50th birthday party, as well as two other events on that Saturday. All four were canceled.
Mm-hmm.
The cancellations continued up into events the weekend of April the 4th, when I had a event for the Philadelphia Inquirer. So within that short time frame, I had 18 events that were canceled. I have a wedding in July that's canceled. So some of the challenges just basically is how it is that Eatable Delights can continue to gain revenue. I just moved into a new location at 1540 Wadsworth Avenue. So now I assume not only a mortgage, but all of the additional responsibilities of utilities, as well as city revenue taxes, as well as insurance on a property that actually belongs to me.
Mm-hmm.
So those are some of the challenges that we faced.
Yeah.
To answer your second question, some of the other small Black businesses that I know about are not able to operate.
Yeah.
Like you said, barbershops are not able to operate.
Mm-hmm.
Salons are not able to operate. And some of the challenges, and the major challenge is unable for these businesses, or these businesses being unable to not just access funds, but to access PPP grants, to access city grants, to access state, local, and federal funding that has been given out to other small businesses.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's real. And I think all of those are things that I've been hearing from a lot of businesses. I know we, as a nonprofit at Man Up PHL, had an event that was scheduled for late March that we had to cancel. It was a major fundraiser, had to be canceled. And I think that kind of sudden thing that happened with our small businesses, like yours, David, and like other businesses that couldn't operate at all. That's the challenge I think that's unique to us. And you raise a good point, which I want to ask Pamela Rich Wheeler about. All of that stuff that they said was going to be available, the Paycheck Protection Program and the EIDL program and all of these grants and loans. Well, our folks didn't really get that in the numbers that they should have. And so, Pamela, how do you deal with that? How do you help our businesses get through this next round of grants and help that's supposed to be available that they didn't really get access to in the first round?
Right. So thanks, Solomon, also for having me on the show. And I'm looking forward to sharing with the audience in reference to how to tackle that. So we're in the second round. And it's important to know that there are still funds available in the second round. So apparently that complaint reached the highest level, it reached the right people. So what they're doing for the second round is they made relief funds available to entities that sound familiar to us. So for instance, PayPal, Square, one not so familiar probably to people, Lendistry, and I would also add Citizens Bank. These are entities that are being reported back to us as we do our research, that people are experiencing success with, and that are actually processing the paperwork, streamlining the information that's needed, and making sure that you're in the process. So I'd like to share that with the audience, your listening audience today, that there are still funds available and it's real. Take advantage of it, act now while it's still available.
Okay, well, how do people go about taking advantage of that? I mean, we keep hearing about it. It sounds really abstract. Where do people go? Where do people go in order to take advantage of it?
So you want to start with your bank, whoever you have a relationship with. Clear the fact that they are or are not currently accepting applications. So in our instance, my bank, the Citizens Bank. So Citizens Bank, also what I want to say, certain banks, they've decided to have a separate entity to process the paperwork. And I noticed the banking institutions that have a separate entity also have a more streamlined process. So Citizens Bank is accepting still, you have to be a customer. If you're not a customer, you can become a customer and apply. And the process should take less than a week. And I can say that because I've been through it myself. Also, I had an opportunity to talk with David before today. David, who was your bank?
So just to
Oh, you didn't go through the bank. You went through one of the entities that I'm talking about.
Yes, and I want to share the information with the listeners. So Solomon, one of the things that Pam and I had a very lengthy conversation about yesterday was there are other lending institutions. So I myself did receive the PPP grant. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying grant because I'm not looking at it as a loan.
Okay.
I applied everywhere. I applied through Wells Fargo, which is my bank. Mm-hmm. I applied through PayPal. I applied through Square. And these are both institutions that are merchant funds that people can apply through for processing their payments, for their credit card payments for their companies. I applied through Lendistry. Mm-hmm. I applied through another mortgage company, and I applied through Loan Builder.
Okay.
So there's a lot of people that are out there that has the PPP program. What Pam and I spoke about yesterday was Wells Fargo. I applied early on in the first round, and I'm still getting emails from them saying, hey, by the way, your application is still being processed. To me, what that means is that I'm so far down the list that they may never get to me. Mm-hmm. But once those other portals opened up, PayPal, Square, Lendistry, I jumped on all of those.
Okay.
And before I got the notification from Square saying that I had been approved, PayPal sent me an email saying, you've been approved by another institution. But I didn't know who it was.
Okay.
When I got approved through Square and I got the email from them, my funds were in my account the very next day.
Wow. So Square, for those who don't know, I use Square when if I'm selling a product, like I have books, right? So if I'm selling that product at an appearance or whatever, I'll use Square for that. And that's you swipe your credit card through it and funds are transferred into your account. That's the same Square you're talking about, right, David?
That is correct.
Right. So you can apply through them. And what a lot of people found, and I know, Pamela, you talked about one of the big banks, but what a lot of people found was that the bigger banks, they were having a hard time getting loans through those bigger banks, getting that Paycheck Protection Program through those bigger banks. In fact, the data showed that they tended to give it to their wealth clients, to people who
Yes.
had millions of dollars already with the bank, rather than small businesses like David's. And so it's interesting that you have these other portals available that you can apply through and actually get the loans and get them quicker and get it moving. So, David, in terms of those smaller lenders like Square, like PayPal, like Lendistry, have you put other people onto that?
Absolutely. Every time I receive an email, I not only send it out to other small businesses, but I send it out to some other small businesses that I knew that faced the challenge.
Yeah.
I received an email yesterday about a grant that the state has for very small businesses, and it's a $3,000 grant. And with the $3,000 grant, it's 10 questions maybe. They ask you to upload a little small video about why it is that they should pick you as the grantee. I have found through this process is that it is just like when you are researching for your home or for anything, there is tons of grants out there. Facebook has a grant. There's at least 4 or 5 different places that I have received emails from that I have shared with other people. There is honestly a lot of different loans. The Merchants Fund with Verizon had a $10,000 grant.
Yeah,
now, I did not receive that. I was denied that, but they were only giving out 250 grants, and they had 55,000 applicants.
And David, I want to add that the Merchants Fund is going to be coming out with something else. They haven't released it yet. When all this came upon us with COVID-19, they sort of had to rework their whole application process so that their regular process where they give $10,000 to organizations is changing as we speak. It's going to be something more in line to address COVID-19. It's going to be more in line to be a relief fund, and it's going to be invitation only. So it hasn't been released. But what we plan to do as soon as they release that information, we're going to put it on our website.
So Pamela, let me ask you this. If it's invitation only, who does it go to and how do they determine who gets invited?
Exactly, Solomon. So that's why programs like yours and WURD radio are so important. In the past, I've been able to work with our team at the Biz Center, and, we've had hair salons that have gotten funds to increase their inventory, and all we had to do was make sure they submit their application and sign off on it as a technical assistance provider. So when you start hearing people say invitation only, that means the selection process is changing. So we, as a African American community, need to make sure that we prepare something along those lines for people of color. Because it is open as what does that mean? Invitation only always concerns me because that means that it's going to be a select group of individuals that may or may not look like us.
Now, the Facebook grant and the small state grant that David is talking about, are you familiar with those, Pamela?
I'm not familiar with that one. I know that the state had the CWCA for workmen's compensation assistance grant available, but we just did a workshop. And the only thing that they have available now is the unemployment pandemic grant. So that one is available, and we have information about that on our website. But I'm not familiar with the last one that David spoke of.
Okay, David, you want to expound on that a little bit?
Sure, I'm looking at it. I'm looking for it in my email now as we speak. And I'm going to send it to both of you so
Okay.
that you can share with the listeners.
Sounds good.
But basically, it's a PA grant, and I received it from a brother named Justin from the Fairmount business community. I'm still in their mailing list, and he sent it to me, and I sent it to people that I know yesterday. And once I locate it on my phone, I will email it to both of you. And it was a simple 10-question application, and they asked to upload a video of why you should be selected. And I quickly sent it out. And one of the things that I want to tell the listeners is one of the things that I found is with these grants and these applications and these things that they're asking you to fill out, I'm going to tell all the listeners that you need to be hungry. And when I say that you need to be hungry, for every single one of these applications, when they dropped on whatever date it was, I was up at midnight on my laptop or at my office so that I could send those applications at 12:01. Now, some other people may or may not be hungry, but I'm hungry. So I'm not sitting around waiting until 9 or 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock in the daytime to send these applications, because 2 weeks ago they had a grant out, and I don't remember what the name of it was. I started at 11 a.m. in the morning. PIDC sent it to me at 12 o'clock. And all day long, I was trying to get this application filled out. But the portal was on overload. By 7 o'clock that day, it had closed.
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right, David. You are absolutely right, because the capacity, they don't necessarily have the capacity. This is new for everybody. And so they don't understand how many people are going to be applying for this. They don't have the capacity to handle it on their servers. And you're right. I mean, these things close before you even get a chance to really apply. So you're absolutely right. You got to be early. You got to be hungry in order to get this. On the other side of our break, Pamela, I want to go to you because I want to talk about that unemployment pandemic grant that you talked about, get a little bit more information on that. I'm Solomon Jones. This is WURD. We're joined by David Sims of Eatable Delights, as well as Pamela Rich Wheeler from the Biz Center. We're talking small business in the age of coronavirus. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
This hour is brought to you by Enon Tabernacle Baptist Church. Visit enontab.org. Enon, a place where people encounter God.
Pennsylvania was forged for the common good. Hard work, calloused hands, big thinking. Every Pennsylvanian is a bit different, but in this way we're all the same. We are not afraid of a challenge. The coronavirus is just another moment where we must come together to protect our home. The fuller we embrace social distancing, the fewer Pennsylvanians will be lost. Stay home to stay safe. Stay home to protect Pennsylvania.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM, WURD.
Nina Ahmed waitressed and struggled before becoming a biomedical scientist, finding new cures to disease. Unlike Donald Trump, she'll use facts and data, not fear and division. Nina came here alone, surviving a violent war as a child. She witnessed the death and destruction caused by assault weapons, and as Auditor General, she'll fight to ban them to protect our children. Nina Ahmed worked for President Obama and then served as deputy mayor of Philadelphia, where she fought to make sure our voices were heard. As president of the Philly chapter of the National Organization for Women, she led fights against discrimination and wage inequality. If elected Auditor General, Nina Ahmed would be the first person of color ever elected statewide in Pennsylvania. You can vote in person on June 2nd or by visiting votespa.com, votespa.com, to get your mail-in ballot. Don't let COVID-19 steal your vote.
Paid for by Nina for PA. Save our Black business. Join us for online shopping Wednesday and Thursday, May 6th and 7th. Enjoy beautiful handmade gifts. Partial proceeds go to support Black doctors. Go to survive.thrive.org to join Zoom.
It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and we are back, and we're talking small business in the age of coronavirus. I mean, it's really our businesses have faced some difficulties, and we are trying to help them to get through it. And joining us to talk about it is David Sims, founder and owner of Eatable Delights, and Pamela Rich Wheeler, executive director of the Biz Center. And we're talking about some of the resources that are available for our businesses because, to your point, David, that you made before the break, a lot of people trying to apply for this stuff, going through these online portals. The portals might crash. They might reach their limit before you get to it. So you have to be early, you have to be hungry, and you have to be on it. But one of the things that you talked about, Pamela, before the break was a grant called the Unemployment Pandemic Grant. What is that?
So the Unemployment Pandemic Grant, it provides up to 39 weeks of unemployment benefits. So those individuals who may be artists or musicians, this particular opportunity would speak to them because it covers individuals that are self-employed, they're independent contractors, they might be gig workers, or they might have just a part-time job, and they might not have a sufficient work history. So this is definitely something that they want to look into.
So it's not like regular unemployment. It's something else.
It's not like regular unemployment. I really think that the state is trying to say, how can we just cover everyone?
Mm-hmm.
You know, how can we cover our musicians and our artists? We need our musicians and our artists after all this is done. We need those individuals who allow us to have a full, meaningful life, an enjoyable life. And this particular opportunity covers that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I want to share the website.
Yeah, go ahead.
Again, this is the state. It's uc.pa.gov. But we will also add this to our website. We have a website where we just keep all the information as we get it, city, state, and federal, so that it'll be in one place on our website. And our website is thebizctr.com.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And at the on the homepage, it'll say grants and loans for relief funds. So you can go there and receive the information.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you can go to uc.pa.gov or go to thebizcenter.com. That's thebizctr.com. The other question I want to ask you is this, because I know someone fairly close to me who worked for about 16 weeks last year, and they were turned down for unemployment because the threshold was 18 weeks. Is there anything that can be done? Can they reapply? Is there a way to get this unemployment pandemic grant? What can people like that do?
So, Solomon, what I would encourage that person to do is to contact our office, because I'm not exactly sure, but we can look into it for that individual. We need a little bit more information. We have Ron Williford, who's our relief consultant during this period, and we will provide free assistance for them to fill out the forms and, just help them determine what they qualify for.
Mm-hmm. What's the number to your office?
It's 215
mm-hmm.
247
mm-hmm.
2473.
Okay. So, David,
and they can also email us at education@thebizcenter.com.
All right. So David, I want to talk to you about surviving this thing, because the thing you said earlier was the key to me. You always got to be hungry. That's how you survive any kind of crisis. You know what I mean? You got to be aggressive. You got to be hungry. You got to figure out, okay, this is what I need, and I'm going to do everything I can to get it. In terms of what adjustments you had to make, because you talked about the fact that a lot of the engagements you had were canceled. What kind of things did you have to adjust in terms of your business model in order to survive this crisis?
So for me, to begin, it was a slight pivot. And when I say a slight pivot before it became a full pivot, when I decided to make the choice to sell dinners as well as do meal prep, the first thing that I did was I designed my menu around the food that I was going to utilize for those events. So when I originally introduced the menu, it was based upon what I already had. We're going to prepare for that weekend for those events. But the pivot really came was when I realized that my numbers hadn't changed, my gas hadn't changed, my electric hadn't changed, my employees hadn't changed. And by being a business owner, one of the things that people don't really realize is that you're responsible not just for the things that make your business, but you're responsible for a whole lot of employees where they're looking to you for different things.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I had to change was how was it that I was going to compete in this already, by some people standards, saturated market of restaurants, caterers, and delivery services. So I decided, hey, I'm going to reach out to A, all of my existing customers. B, I'm not going to have any 5-mile or 6-mile limitation on my delivery services. So I want the listening audience to know that not only do we deliver in Philadelphia, but we deliver to all of the other 5 counties, Bucks, Montgomery, Delaware, Chester. We've delivered to Marlton, New Jersey. We've delivered to Washington's Crossings. We've delivered to Middletown, Delaware. There is a delivery fee that goes with that.
Right.
But what I've learned along the way is that people will pay for 2 things. And what I'm about to say is going to rejoice with some listeners, and then what I'm about to say is going to piss some listeners off. People will pay for convenience, or people will pay to be lazy. So however it is that I can reach that next customer by way of having something delivered to them, I will be there. We will deliver. I do not have limitations. And one of the things that I had to do was I had to go out and hire 2 delivery drivers, one of which has a car, offer him a gas stipend, and maybe not be able to pay him what I would have liked to have paid one of my regular workers.
Yeah.
But on the other side of that is some of these people are as hungry as I am, and if they're already employed and you're paying them a fair wage, which is above minimum wage, but not necessarily where I would like to pay them, those people will work if they're hungry.
I hear you, man, and that's one of the things I think that's going on, and I want to talk to you about this, Pamela Rich Wheeler. A lot of people out of work, a lot of opportunities for people if you search for them. And so have there been industries, have there been businesses that have risen up out of this because of the situation that we're in?
Well, I've seen businesses reinvent themselves. So for instance, you know how we have retail businesses on Germantown Avenue? I've seen them now making masks. There was a distillery that just opened up in Wayne Junction. They're now making the hand sanitizer. Now, I don't expect them to be doing that long term.
Right.
But they're doing that because they know that nobody's going to be coming in to their restaurant to purchase beer or anything like that. And they have the equipment to make the hand sanitizer.
Yeah. And so I think what you're saying is that businesses are making those adjustments that David talked about in order to survive. And that's
and
what
the other thing,
you gotta be willing to do that. Go ahead, Pamela.
Right. David mentioned that he kind of shifted his gears since people can't come into his establishment. He found a way to make sure that he could take the food out of his establishment and deliver it to their establishment. I've tasted David's food. I can, before all this, I can remember going to events with our public officials or receptions downtown and saying, this food is good. Who made this food? And seeing Edible Delights card on the table. And this is my first time meeting David. This is how we're meeting. And the food is good. So you start there, that people will continue to support David. What it sounds like he's doing is he's finding that 20% that is really 80% of his business. That's one of everybody's task as a business, is to find out who's that 20% that actually provides 80% of your business.
Yeah. We're talking with Pamela Rich Wheeler from the Biz Center, and we're talking with David Sims from Eatable Delights about small businesses and how you survive during this time when everything really has changed. Businesses have shut down. Businesses have been challenged in how to get through this. And so one of the things that I've been trying to do is to figure out how we support our Black businesses, those that are open and those that are not, what we do as a community in order to support each other. And I think a big part of that, David, is information. You talked about sharing the information that is coming to you through the various email lists that you are on. Talk about the importance of doing that.
So the first thing, and that's the most important thing, is before you even get to the information sharing, is the principle of Christianity is, and I'm one that believe we as men, iron sharpens iron, or what you put out in the universe is what you're going to get back. My mother taught me as a young man, even before I got to the spiritual part, if your hand is so tight because it's closed, and you don't want to let anything out, well, nothing can get in as well. So it's the same thing with information. Information is like a part of the universe. So when you put it out there freely, it comes back to you freely. That's one of the things that you have to do. It is extremely important to share information, because by way of the train coming into the station or the train leaving out of the station, then what will end up happening is, if you keep your train stuck in the station, if your train is parked at Broad and Erie and you refuse to move it, and it can't go to the next station, which is Broad and Allegheny, or the next piece of information can't come into you as well. So I look at a lot of these things as spiritual. I look at a lot of these things as what I'm supposed to do. But just another thing that I want to talk about is that not just with the information sharing, but you also have to know what it is that your competition is doing. You've also got to go to other people's websites and see what is going on. I am going to be very open, honest, and transparent. I go on Victoria's Kitchen's website because Victoria's Kitchen has been doing it longer than I have. I can learn something from her and what it is that she's doing, how it is that she's successful. I can learn what works for me and what doesn't work for me. And what I can do is I can model my business. Now I'm the 20-year-old successful caterer, but she's the 8 to 10-year-old restaurant service that delivers as well. Last week, I had a conversation with her. I called up on the phone just to pick her brain. So we've got to be willing to share information, to give information, to not hoard what it is that we have, and be able to do what it is that we have to do to survive and to thrive.
Yeah, and I think that to your point, and I always talk about it, us needing to have an economic foundation in our community. And what that means is that we support our businesses. Because if your business survives, then that means that you can employ some black people. That means that there's some black people that's not out on the street, some black people that can pay their rent, some black people that don't have to resort to other things. And that's a good thing for all of us. If I can support, other businesses like the one that you mentioned, if I can support them, I'm going to do that. That has to be part of our mindset, I believe, as a community. You cannot have a community without an economic foundation, and you cannot have an economic foundation without successful small businesses. Pamela Rich Wheeler, you do some online things in order to let people know what's out there during this time. Talk about that.
Yes, I want to talk about that, and I also want to talk about a workshop that we're doing this evening, because you gave us such a nice segue there of supporting Black businesses.
Yeah.
So our focus, our mission, first of all, is to equip individuals with the tools they need to start, sustain, and expand their operations. Most importantly, we want to make sure that people understand what it means to be fully capitalized when they start their business. So when they come to us and we help them write a business plan, they have real numbers that they can then take to the bank or Beach Capital or, any of the community financial institutions and get considered for a loan. Then we add to that, we add workshops, seminars, one-on-one coaching. We try to find experts in the industry that they're in to provide them with knowledge and experience. Like David said, he wants to learn from people that have been out there. So we already have a restaurant expert that we're going to match him up with. And then we also speak to our young entrepreneurs because they are our future. So we do youth entrepreneurship training. And just like any other business out here, we're not letting that stop us from offering programming to our youth. It'll be all virtual, but we're not letting that stop us from offering that service. Now, this evening, to support a Black-owned business, and David mentioned Victoria is one of our clients, we are actually having a taking care of business, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to take care of business. And this is Small Business Month, even though it's been overshadowed by COVID-19. This is Small Business Month. So it should be even more of an emphasis on, lifting up our small businesses. And like you said, Solomon, specifically our businesses, our African-American owned businesses. So we're doing, for the first time, we're going to try this online. We're doing our networking online. She's doing a cooking demonstration. She's going to show everybody how to make shrimp and grits.
Okay.
And then everybody who participates will get spotlighted. They'll have their few minutes of fame to talk about their business.
Okay, give us the link very quickly, because we got to get right into segment. What's the link that where can people go?
It's THEBIZCTR.com.
Okay, so that'll be on your website this evening?
Yes.
What time?
It's on the website now.
What time?
Okay,
so it's there
event
now.
is 6 p.m. this evening.
Okay, great. And so, David Sims, got to let you know, my mother posted on Facebook and says, great to hear you sharing about your business. I have known David for many, many years, back to when we both lived in Logan. I remember your place on Lehigh Avenue. I came there to do a reading. You invited me there to do a reading. Your place on Ridge Avenue. I did some coats for you when you did your tree lighting. And it's great to see you move from place to place, do your thing. When I was Salvation Army Public Relations Director, I hired you to do an event for us. And this was early when you started. So, and you have supported many of the things that I have done over the years, man. So we're proud of the work that you're doing. Keep on hustling. Keep on moving. I know you're going to continue to be successful. And I'm going to be up there on Wadsworth to get some grub.
All right. Well,
yes, me too.
Okay, great. Shout out to Mama Carolyn Jones.
That's right.
Carolyn Jones was the mama to all of us. I just saw that on Facebook, so I was going to shout her out. And Solomon, I want you to know that in addition to everything that you've already supported, I'm going to ping pong you back, because I've decided, by way of a lot of people telling me, but especially starting from this point, I'm going to write a book.
That's what's up.
And I want your publishing company to be my publisher.
All right, well, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it, David. I appreciate you, man, and thank you so much for what you've done. So, Pamela Rich-Wheeler from the Biz Center, David Sims from Eatable Delights Catering. David, we got Pamela's information. How do people get in touch with you?
So people can come to 1540 East Wadsworth Avenue, which is in the East Mount Airy section of the city. Our office phone is 215-236-3900. They can visit us on our website at eatabledelightscatering.com. They can find us on Facebook. They can locate us on Twitter, and they can also look us up on Instagram.
All right. All right. Well, I want to thank you both for joining us today on WURD. Have a great day. We're going to go to break on the other side. Yep. Talk to y'all soon. On the other side, we're going to talk to you. 215-634-8065. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Legal information, black history, hip-hop, and much more. It's the Radio Courtroom with attorney Michael Cord every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. right here on WURD 96.1 FM and 900 AM. Streaming live at wordradio.com and on the Wurd Radio app.
Right now, nurses are on the front lines, delivering direct care to those fighting the virus, supporting patients isolated from family members, implementing telehealth into their practices, and providing leadership of hospital systems and public health agencies. You can let nurses know you care with a message of gratitude by using the hashtag #GratitudeForNurses on Twitter and Instagram, or by posting a message at 2020nurseandmidwife.org.
West Philadelphia Promise Neighborhood Community Meal Locations for Seniors, West Philly Senior Community Center, 1061 North 41st Street. Seniors only. Call 215-386-0377 for days and times and to reserve your meal. Fireside Adult Center, 5331 Haverford Avenue, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Call ahead, grab and go lunch for seniors. For a full listing of meal sites, go to phillyfoodfinder.org. For more information for the West Philadelphia Promise Neighborhood offerings, please go to wordradio.com and click on the WPPN banner ad for more information.
What's up, Philly? It's Sincerely Sarita. As we emerge from our national crisis and begin to consider what it means to head back to school, you may want to check out Commonwealth Charter Academy, an online K-12 public school available at no cost to you. There's a bright new light shining on the advantages of cyberschooling your children, and CCA is a market leader in using virtual classrooms over the internet to teach your children from the comfort of your own home. Visit ccaeducate.me for details on fall enrollment. CCA's fully accredited teachers create a learning environment that is flexible, safe from bullying, and protected from environmental hazards. CCA provides all materials, internet access, a laptop computer, and a headset, all at no cost to you. Visit ccaeducate.me. Once again, that's ccaeducate.me to learn more about fall enrollment.
We are progressive and proud and interactive. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at OnWord. This is Wurd Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Streaming live at wordradio.com. Back by popular demand. It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on Wurd Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with Word. Give us a call at 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are on any of these things we are talking about on this morning's show, including our top 3 stories, which are story number 1, supporters of reopening Philadelphia businesses are going to gather at City Hall on Friday, the day parts of northern and western Pennsylvania will begin a phased lifting of shutdown restrictions to rally against mass closures aimed at mitigating the spread of the coronavirus. And number of groups going to be out there, including one group that is has been dubbed a hate group, the Philadelphia Proud Boys, white supremacist group. in the view of many people. So we'll see how that goes. Sounds like it's going to be crazy. Story number 2, many healthcare professionals dealing with a bombardment of misinformation and harassment from conspiracy theorists, some of whom have moved beyond posting online to pressing doctors for proof of the severity of the pandemic. And of course, story number 3, the fatal shooting of a black man apparently recorded on video in February and posted online Tuesday by a Georgia radio station host will go to a grand jury in coastal Georgia, according to a district attorney there. That, of course, the case of Ahmaud Arbery, 25, who was jogging in a neighborhood outside Brunswick, Georgia, when he was confronted by 2 men. They claimed that they thought he was a burglar, and they shot him dead right there on the road. So we're talking about those things, and of course just had a great business stimulus segment with Pamela Rich Wheeler from the Biz Center, as well as David Sims from Eatable Delights Catering. Make sure you give that brother some business as he is making it through this pandemic, and with a lot of businesses shutting down, a lot of businesses, including his, kind of having to shift gears. We need to be supporting our businesses because, again, in order for us to have a thriving community, we have to have a thriving business foundation. So I want to hear from you. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. Renee from West Oak Lane is on line 1. Go ahead, Renee.
Hello, Solomon. Thank you for your time and energy in the WRZ staff.
You're
I
welcome.
wanted to make a comment on what you was talking about, like the marching and how we have to have a strategy and stuff like that. But I want to get into, a lot of us have been psychologically damaged with self-hate, discrimination, and racism, and sometimes our actions go in the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to agree with you about the president not wearing a mask. And talking about the disinfecting, how people follow this guy, you know, like he's a god, because these people are racist, and that's what they believe in. Now, so far as this man, this president, he's a narcissistic type of person, and usually narcissistic, thinking-minded people are like one-track minds, like a mental block, you know. They don't see nothing else because they self-absorbed with they self.
Right.
Now, it's like a double standard with the mask, with this guy, because we can't go in business without having a mask, a store or whatnot. We can't go in there without having your mask on. And it's so much double standard with this guy that we have leading the country, you know, and a lot of people is believing this and following this man, like you said. And another thing I wanted to get into, like you were saying about we can keep marching and talking about this president, things like this, but we need a strategy, and we need something statistic behind it. Now, I feel as though we do need to keep our voice and keep marching, and we need to take it to the courts and the Supreme Court, and that I believe that's the best that we can do so far. As you know, you mentioned about the guy that was jogging and how they shot him, they killed him.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe what you're doing, Solomon, and other people within the communities that, you know, people don't even know of, that's working towards marching and protesting. We just need to keep pushing that and take it to court, Supreme Court, if necessary.
Mm-hmm. All right. I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. One of the things, and I'm going to shift gears just a little bit because we were talking about small business, and David Sims said he would send us the grant he was talking about. Well, he was talking about the Pennsylvania 30-Day Fund, and it's giving away $3,000 forgivable loans to very small businesses in Pennsylvania. It's real estate developer Jeff Bartos. He created that fund after hearing many stories from business owners who were left out of funding, and so you can apply for that fund by going to www.pa30dayfund.com. That's pa30dayfund.com. So that is available, and I encourage you to apply for that if you are a small business. So we want to hear from you. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. I'm going to go back to the phone lines. And as a matter of fact, we're going to go to Facebook. So Forward, F-O-R-W-U-R-D, that's F-O-R-W-U-R-D. That's where you can weigh in and let us know what you are thinking about the various things that we are talking about on this morning's show. So we got a couple of comments here, including one from Nakia Twin Campbell. She says, David Sims always blessed us with amazing breakfast at the studio for us at the Breakdown Radio Show. So we appreciate that. And also got some other comments on Facebook as well, just kind of scrolling through those and trying to see some that we can read on the air. Let's see. Diane Fassett says the money they have gotten over years and years from our taxes to fund schools with asbestos and nasty environments without keeping them is criminal. The city does not use the money from our taxes appropriately, and then when there is a surplus, it just sits there. No, that is wrong. Robin Drury McDonald says, Solomon, can you wish my mom Maddie a happy 92nd birthday? Well, Miss Maddie, happy 92nd birthday. I understand you listen every day. We appreciate you. Happy birthday and many, many more. If you want to get in, it's 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio, and let us know where you are on any of those things we are talking about on this morning's show. Beautiful day outside. Really just bright blue skies today. Kawesa, you going to get out there today and enjoy some of that?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I'm going to try.
When people calling, getting on your nerves?
No. Not at all.
Stop it. Stop it.
No, but you know what? They were all good calls, though. People had questions about, wanting to get in touch with, with David. So that's great. And anything that I could do to help and get that information to folks, I'm here for.
The one thing I gotta say to y'all, when y'all call, get to the point. Because we love you. We do. We love you. We love you dearly. Get to the point. Because believe it or not, Kawesa is sitting here producing a whole show. So get to the point. Right? So that we can move on and get to doing the show, because we want to make sure that we are dealing with everybody and not just you. So 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are on any of these things we are talking about on this morning show. 215-634-8065. That's the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio, and let us know where you are on any of these things we're talking about on this morning show. So again, the young man who was killed in Georgia, really a heartbreaking case, and it happened in February. We're just finding out about it in the last few days as that video has been released. But his name was Ahmaud Arbery. He was 25 years old, was jogging in a neighborhood outside Brunswick, Georgia, on February 23rd when a former police officer and his son chased him down, and they shot him in cold blood. One of them had a shotgun. The son had a shotgun. The father, the former police officer, had a pistol. He was shot 3 times and killed right there on the road. And there was somebody there who taped it. I'm trying to figure out what that person was doing. And so as we learn more, we will share it with you. But we have to do what we have to do in order to protect ourselves during this time and love ourselves and uplift ourselves during this time, because the bottom line is that racism does not take a day off. And unfortunately, for some of us, it costs us our lives. Herman from Philly is on line 3. Go ahead, Herman.
For taking my call. Just to go straight to the point. Last year I had a job and I had a salary. I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care at this time. I would still be being paid. I wasn't an hourly worker. I've been laid off since December. And what I want to say is that these shutdowns affect certain people.
I didn't hear what you just said. These shutdowns what?
Affect certain people.
Right.
More than others.
Mm-hmm.
When we talk about racial discrimination or wage income differences, certain people have a salary that they can go with this on for even 2 years. They wouldn't care. Certain people, certain race work more in the hourly, have more hourly jobs.
Yeah.
And, the more this goes on, they have to take care of their families.
Mm-hmm.
It would be fair if the leaders that we have also had some kind of, cut in their pay to donate to communities and stuff like that. But as we go with this, I mean, you can go to Walmart, you can work at Amazon.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Certain places, it really, the ordinary person doesn't really understand this. And, lower income people are getting more affected by this.
I agree, and I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD. We got to go. We are at the end of the show. We appreciate you. We tried to get in everybody that we could. But you can always give us a call back tomorrow. But as always, I want to thank everybody who was a guest on today's show, including political commentator Jay McCalla, Pamela Rich Wheeler of the Biz Center, and of course David Sims of Eatable Delights Catering. And now, for everyone here at WURD Radio, including super producer Kawesa Mathis, I am your host, Solomon Jones, saying stay tuned for the next show that is coming up, Reality Check with Charles Ellison, and tune in tomorrow at 7 for more Wake Up with Word. Peace.
This hour was brought to you by Enon Tabernacle Baptist Church. Visit enontab.org. Enon, a place where